Boo, it was the whole concert.
Boo!
Yeah, no, right?
Boo, 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 boo.
Happy Halloween.
Is that what it is?
Is that right?
Hello, world.
Hello, Dallas.
And I'm Charles. I know, no, you're Charles. I got to mention.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm Alvin.
And I'm Charles, I think.
You don't want me to be you?
You can be me.
Okay.
We can switch places. Like, what is that? Remember that show where you switch places?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You're in my body, I'm in your body.
Yeah. Well, welcome to Tit for Tat.
And this and that, baby. We about to break it down.
All right. Today we are going to be talking about ghosting.
Yeah.
But before we get into that topic, I'm gonna do our little "Oh no, you didn't" moment here.
Yeah.
I was, when we came back from Puerto Rico.
Yes, we're back, Dallas.
We're back. When we got back, this popped up on my timeline in my notifications that TGIF may have been canceled, and I guess there's lots of reasons behind it, but they haven't been on, I guess, for the last week or two.
Oh wow!
And then but they this roast that Armand Wiggins did, I guess Claudia did hers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the Claudia part, but I did see the Armand Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins went, and he went in hard to me. I think he went a little bit too far. Even though I like Armand Wiggins, I watch his show. I watch his channel too. But I think he went a little bit too hard, and then he also talked about some stuff. I think that there was a cease and desist on as far as Star Jones, Al's wife, because she said, when they started the show years ago or whatever, I think I had read something that she had her lawyer, or she did, or her lawyer did send a cease and desist that they couldn't talk about her on the show.
He definitely mentioned
her.
He definitely got dirty.
Yeah.
And Nene said, you can never win when you play dirty.
Oh my God. But anyway, so I'm gonna play this little 55-second clip, and then then we'll get into our show. But this is our little "Oh no, you didn't."
Okay. Let's see what these fools doing.
You go ghost on me, I don't respond.
That's not it. Sorry, folks.
And remember all the great things I've said about you at the top of the show, Al. But because this is truly your birthday. Now, everyone, I wrote it down. Gather round. It's roast time, okay? Today we're celebrating our very own Al Reynolds' birthday. Al, you're a man of many talents, some of which include being messy, causing drama, and having a knack for making our workplace feel like a reality TV show. Al's got a unique ability to smile in your face, snap a picture, and go behind your back and talk about you to your coworker that he claims he hates. It's like he's got a PhD in two-faced study, okay? Due to Al's special relationship with management and his hypersensitivity, we are not allowed to talk about his failed marriage. So even though he's brought it up many times, I'll steer clear of that topic to keep my job. Now, but wait, there's more. Al fancies himself as the facts guy, but somehow he never seems to get the actual facts right. He's also a talk show host who's supposed to have all the strong opinion, but the guy can't form a thought without his notes. Seriously, I've seen grocery store lists with more spontaneous insight. And let's not forget his legendary struggle with names and words. Al, it's successful, not successful. It's like watching a toddler trying to pronounce spaghetti. Oh, and how could I forget Al's clout-chasing antics? He's got all these celebrities friends, but the best part, none of these celebrities actually know they're supposed to be friends with him. And as if that wasn't enough, Al is currently on a mission to get our talk show canceled. His nasty child and slightly jealous attitude is working overtime to torpedo our show. It's like he's auditioning for a soap opera villain role. But despite all the chaos, let's not forget it's your birthday, Al. Okay? So here's to you. May your future be as drama-free as your past has been drama-filled. Happy birthday, Al!
That was a road.
That was ratchet, and I enjoyed every second of it. Thank you, Armand. Thank you.
Baby.
So I don't think he enjoyed that. I think for the camera, I think he said that for the camera.
Yeah.
Because you went back just a little while ago and you read what he said
afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was for the camera. Yeah. I think Armand went a little bit too hard, and that's his co-host. So I don't, I think what what Armand was saying, I think that was Armand's truth, where he probably don't really like Al, or he may like him. But I think what he was saying, he did that to be hurtful.
That to me, I feel like in their relationship, they're at a point where I'm just gonna keep it real, and this was an opportunity for them to actually just say how they really felt. But to do it as like a roast, you say you're roasting. So the person won't take it, personally, or oh, we're just roasting, it's just a friendly roast. But this is actually how you feel, y'all do, because you went on to say something about that you have a co-host that you don't like. How do you know that? So he must have told one of y'all that he doesn't like the other, because if not, that wouldn't even land, and it probably wasn't even for us to know, who we're talking about. But Al knew exactly who he was talking about when he said it's a co-host that you don't like. And so that it hit him. That took the air out of him. So yeah, they used that as an opportunity to say how they really felt.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I would just throw that "oh no you didn't" moment in there, and
I would go to HR if I was him.
That's that went viral around the internet. And I thought it was a little bit harsh, but I know when you roast people, you do. I think sometimes you say a lot of cruel things.
You do,
whatever. But I think that was a little bit. If that was his friend, I think that was a little bit too much. And Claudia, with her messy ass self, she was just eating it up. She said, she said she didn't know he was going to say any of that type of stuff. But somehow now, I guess I don't know if it was all related to that or other stuff. But now they're saying that the show may be canceled.
Wow.
Or
he probably mad. He probably I don't want to get on the stage with them no more.
Yeah. And then Claudia was saying that that Al was her friend, and that what was circulating around was not true, that she didn't like Al, or that she didn't say, she wasn't talking about the trans or calling the gays fags and stuff, like that. But then Tasha K comes back and shows her video and shows her phone where Claudia is on there with the text messages and talking or whatever, and actually saying fags and saying that she didn't like Al and he was messy and all this other type of stuff. So I don't know, what the heck's going on there. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into our little topic here on ghosting. I'm going to play this little video right here of this guy talking about ghosting.
You go ghost on me, I don't respond. If someone exits out of your life without notice, I don't need to give you notice that I noticed your text message afterwards. You go ghost on me, you won't get a response. Matter of fact, you probably won't even find my social media profile because you will be blocked. When you go ghost, I exercise the demon. I saged my mental and emotional and my heart away from the bad juju of your spirit. I can't have you haunting my future, because that's what ghosts do. They come back when you start making progress, right? When you start finding a man or a woman that actually deserves your attention and your time, they come back in your life doing what ghosts do, which is boo. Hey, boo, how you been? That's what ghosts do. Hey, stranger. They whisper in your ear and shit. And sometimes if you haven't exercised them completely out your life, you will be tempted to go around with those demons you told God to get out your life.
All right, so let's ghosting. So we were just talking a little while ago, and you said that you don't ghost. You don't ghost. I don't feel like I ghost people. I hope that I don't ghost people. And you said that you feel like you don't ghost people either. But I have been ghosted. Actually, I've been ghosted several times. I get ghosted pretty much from out of the punishment aspect of it. There's all different types of reasons why people ghost. Some people don't even realize that they have ghosted. But like what he was saying, I believe most people know when they're ghosting you, especially in the apps and stuff. It's real prevalent in the apps where it happens. They say in society about 50, it's like a 50-50 thing, like maybe about 50% people in society ghost, and 50% have been ghosted. And I guess there's another 50% where people are more mature and they're not out there doing that silly ghosting type stuff. Right. But on the apps, it's even more than 50%, and it depends on the apps. They say that the apps that where they charge you to be, you have to pay to be on the apps, not the ones where it's conditioned, where it's free, or you can pay, but you can also be on them for free. But they say the ones that are free, it's just rampant with the ghosting, and there's reasons that people give why they ghost, and then and I have some of those in here later, and I'm sure you have some too. But it's very hurtful when it happens. But they say ghosting happens mostly in relationships, like people who are in date, like they've been dating for a while, or they've been in a relationship for a while. And then, so I want to kind of explore, kind of some of the reasons why, people ghost, and in relationships, or when they're dating, why they would ghost. Or, if we feel like we may have ghosted or something too, and why we did it, or I don't think that I've ghosted people, but
I know for me, I've never ghosted anyone that that I guess kind of know flesh and blood or whatever, like people that we've talked to and stuff like that. I may have ghosted, because I wasn't even thinking about the apps. But you know how the apps, someone may hit you up, and then you go to their page, and then you see you know what, this is not going to be somebody I'm going to be really interested in or whatever. So I may not respond, because it's like, I mean, if you're trying to take it to a place of dating or getting to know each other, I can already tell you it's not going to go just by, reading your profile. Because unlike some people, I do read the profiles, and I'm definitely going to look at the pictures, or whatever, because we're visual or whatever. I want to see who I'm talking to or whatever. But, so I may do it in there or whatever. And then it'd be people that hit you in other countries, like Africa, and I'll be thinking that's probably spam or something, when you get those or whatever. But when I do get those, I'm like, what are we gonna talk about? I mean, I don't want a pen pal. I didn't get on here to do a pen pal. So you're miles and miles away. So I probably don't even respond to those. So I may kind of do it in the app, but I don't consider that ghosting. I just feel like I'm not interested, because there's no conversation. And most of the time ghosting is a conversation has been had. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's been cut off. Like I don't do that, So if I ghost you, it's like from the top. Like you ain't even saying nothing. And I already know that this is not going anywhere or whatever. But yeah, I think the ghosting that we're talking about is like you've actually started a conversation with these people. You're communicating, maybe day after day or every other day, at least, every week or whatever. And all of a sudden they're gone, So yeah, I don't think I've ever done that. If you text me, most time I'm going to text you back. If you call me, I'm going to pretty much call you back.
So here's what Martina Burrell, that's actually my sister. That's my oldest sister. She's in here today. Martina, if you want to come in live on the screen with us, let me know and I'll send you the link. So, but she says, "Hey, you two, if you don't want to be bothered with someone, who is to say you have to be bothered? I am live with you today. I am not ghosting you." Okay, so she says, if you don't want to be bothered with someone, who is to say you have to be bothered? I think.
And you remember that's when I came in. I was saying like sometimes, and let me know if this is what you mean by this, Martina. When I told Alvin, I said like, now there are times where people may call me, and I'm not in the mood to talk. You know, I'm not in the mood. I'm busy. I'm watching TV. I'm tired or whatever the reason. And so it may seem like I'm ignoring you, or if you want to use the word ghosting, but I'm not. I just don't want. I'm not available at that moment because right now we all are talking about our mental health and getting your just spending time with yourself and loving on yourself, spending time with getting to know yourself. Because how can you be right or ready for someone else if you're not really used to just being you and know what you like, what you don't like, and stuff like that. So anyway, everyone deserves personal time or whatever, and sometimes people call you when you're trying to have that me time or whatever. So when you say don't want to be bothered with, in a way, that's kind of how I be feeling at that moment. Like I love the person, I want to talk to them, but in that moment I don't want to do it right then and there. So I'll probably call them later or text them later or whatever. So if that's what you mean by that, I get that or whatever, But yeah, I think, like you said, no one should, just bombard on your time if you're trying to just spend time or with yourself or whatever. But you just got other things to do.
Right. Okay, Tina, I just sent it to your cell phone. Go get your cell phone and then click on the link and then just come in and then it'll pull you into our studio and then I'll pull you in. So what she was saying, like if you don't want to be bothered, I think the difference is instead of ghosting someone, if you're mature enough to just say, okay. And most people aren't going to be like that because some people are afraid. There she is,
afraid to hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Hey sis.
Hey.
Hey. What's going on?
Not much. How y'all?
We're
good.
We're fine.
So
we're talking about Steve. So
I'm gonna say this instance. So I have a friend who this happened many years ago, who you would probably consider ghosting me because for a long time wouldn't return my calls and didn't call, but then one day many years later called and didn't understand why I wasn't talking to her anymore. I said, it's not that I'm not talking to you, you didn't answer any of my calls, so I figured you just didn't want to be bothered. Back in the day when we didn't have cell phones and all of that, we had just regular phones, and so you always answered your phone, but now you have cell phones and you look on the phone and you said, I don't feel like talking to that ninja. And so you just keep on doing whatever you do.
Wait a minute. To that what?
So,
ninja. To that what?
Ninja.
Ninja. You don't want to say nigga? You don't want to say nigga?
I'm being politically correct.
Thank you. Okay.
To that nigga, okay? But so we all ghost people at some point in time, even though I don't know why they call it ghosting. Well, I know why they call it ghosting, because you just disappear and they can't see you anymore. But not wanting to be bothered, you just don't want to be bothered. There, like they said, there are seasons for everybody. Everybody has a purpose in your life, and some people aren't meant to be there for your entire life. Some people are very annoying. They get on your very last nerve.
Like you.
And they, huh?
I said, like you? No,
I was referring to you, but I was trying not to use your name.
Right. Oh, I like you, Martina. Yeah.
Go ahead, sis.
But so even, and sometimes you give people subtle hints that you just don't want to be bothered, and they don't take those hints. So then you have to go to the extreme of just ignoring them completely.
So what about just telling them that you need space right now, or
that's what I'm saying. Some people don't understand the I need space. Some people you tell them, you say, well, you know what, this isn't really working. I need a little bit of space from you. Mm-hmm. Well, who's to say what a little bit of space is? Because you might need a month or two, and they only going to give you 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll call you later. No, not later. It's working. See, because some people just don't comprehend things very well, or don't choose to. And sometimes, like Charles said, it's a mental health thing. We got too many mentally ill people walking around here pretending that they okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole nother story subject.
Yeah, I think with mental health, when it's mental health and they're ghosting you, and maybe a little bit different than the regular ghosting, because a lot of times with the mental health stuff, they have to have that time away from people, because they have breakdowns and stuff, and then being around people a lot, or just certain situations stresses them out, mm-hmm. and then they just go ghost, maybe not realizing that they are going ghost. They just have to, they just shut down, and then they get away, right. and then they probably come back later, mm-hmm. I mean,
and that's the way I'm looking at it too. But mm-hmm. when I was saying mental health, I mean, like, say I have a friend that only calls me when they have a whole lot of problems or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when they call me, it's all this trash being dumped on me. This boy did this person did this, they doing this on job. This, for my mental health, maybe I have to ignore you for the moment. You know what I mean? Because I already know what you're bringing, and I can't. No, that's too heavy. I want to be real light today, okay? I want to be, and I can't take your heaviness. So I kind of like, you know.
And so you would just ghost and don't say anything? Well, no, or do you let him know, like, not today, maybe I'll call you later, right? Or I'll get back to you, or whatever, or I can't deal with this today, or whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I don't ghost anyone. If you call me, I'm gonna call you back. If you text, I'm gonna text you. But in that moment, I might not be ready for it, or I know what you're bringing, and I'm like, okay, I got to get myself together to deal with you, because I know I already know we got history. I know that you do this. You're gonna tell me all the little problems you got, and hopefully, if my friends are watching, I'm sorry, but you kind of know who you are. But I mean, we all use people to come to vent or whatever. But when I'm ready, when I'm in that moment to hear your vent, or you're in that moment to hear my vent, it's okay. But sometimes I'm not in that moment. Uh-huh. So for my mental health, I have to. Yeah. So, but I get what you're saying as well.
So here's the definition on ghosting: when someone suddenly and without explanation ends communication with another person, often in a romantic relationship, but it can also happen in other social contexts. It can be obvious, but it can also be gradual. It can also be a gradual process. Mm-hmm. Some early signs that someone might be ghosting. You include, they regularly cancel plans, they have trouble making commitments, and they don't like to share personal information. Let me see. She doesn't got. Let's see what happened to her.
There she's back. She's back.
There she go. Okay.
Something popped up on my screen and I hit it and I lost y'all.
Oh, okay, no that's problem. Okay.
You can finish your thought if you.
So Charles's friend. It sounds like you just need to tell that friend don't call you unless he got something good to talk about.
Right.
This might be what you may be talking about, Charles. Soft ghosting. Mm-hmm. This is soft ghosting when someone suddenly and without explanation ends communicating with another person. Nope, that's not that.
Well, basically what I'm saying is I don't answer every call and I don't answer every text at the moment. Mm-hmm. And I know some people may consider that good, because you do have your friends that may reach out and say, well, hey, stranger, or I called you, or whatever. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with me and you. I just was not available. And I don't have to give you a reason why I wasn't available. I could have been here. I could have been with family, or I could have just wanted my.
But a lot of times people feel that you're ghosting them.
They feel what?
And they feel like you're ghosting them because you didn't answer And those people feel like you're ghosting them because you didn't answer at the time that they felt you should have answered when they called.
Right.
And they may have called you 1 or 2 times. Those are needy people.
Exactly.
Do you think that do you know when people are ghosting? You think you feel like can you always tell when somebody's ghosting you? You don't get on the app. You never got on the apps, did you, Tina? You never got on dating apps. Did you ever get on dating apps, social apps, or anything like that? Nothing like that. So it's on the apps. It's a little bit. It's prevalent. So then, what about in relationships? You know, like I ain't gonna get it too far into your personal life or whatever.
Because I have dating, having been dating, friendship, and professional.
Well, there was a guy that I ghosted because y'all can call it ghosting, and I'll call it ghosting.
No, go ahead.
You said what? What did you say?
I was saying y'all can call it ghosting, I'll call it ghosting. But there was a guy that I dated. We went out on 2 dates, and I said this is not gonna work. And he kept calling me, and I would not answer him.
Did you tell him that?
Yes, I said this ain't gonna work.
Because you told her.
Right, but she still went ghost. But you went ghost after he didn't heed the warning, or he didn't take what you said.
Okay,
he kept bothering you.
Because he kept calling and calling and calling, and
so you just cut him off.
He was psycho.
Yeah, he was psycho, and so this person.
But it was appropriate for you to ghost him, and that's called appropriate ghosting.
Yeah.
Okay, but because he just kept, I said, this ain't working. It was nice. I said, thank you. I had a good time, but this ain't gonna work for me. And like I said, and then he kept calling. So then this person, they got drunk one night and they called me at like 3:00 in the morning and said he was coming to my house. And I'm like, who told you that? I said, you're not coming. No, he wasn't getting no booty call from my house. And
maybe a coochie call? We do booty calls.
Well, they made up the term booty call.
He wasn't gonna get a lick of a toe or nothing else. Okay.
Oh, right. Nothing. Your brother don't want to hear it.
So then he told me I was his girlfriend, and I'm like, who told you that? What is wrong with you? And I said, you know what?
Oh, she froze.
Well, yeah,
I said, maybe I am your girl.
You froze.
Yeah, so I started rattling papers around. I said, hold on. I said, well, before you come over, stop at your bank and get this amount out for your part of the mortgage, this amount out for the utilities. I said, because my boyfriend got paid half the bills when he coming over here. And so I ended that ghost. So now he ghosts me because he don't call me. He never called me again. I know how to get rid of folks.
And so how long ago was that? How long ago was that?
Oh, that was it was about 20 years ago. But
also,
I saw him.
No contact with him since then.
No, because me and Jeff been together for 17 years. But right. I saw him not too long ago, and I guess he's still mad at me because he didn't even say hi.
Well, yeah, because you did ghosting, but it was in that instance. I think it was appropriate for you to ghosting because you did tell him that you weren't interested in him. And then he kept bothering you. So in certain instances, it can be appropriate.
Yes.
Especially like in dating or just like even online on the apps and stuff, like that. Just say, just say you've been on the apps, and then a lot of times what happens on the apps is you're chatting with a whole bunch of different people. They're sending you messages and stuff, like that. And then when you're chatting with them or whatever, through the course of chatting with them, you might find out that you're really not interested in them, or you can kind of tell they're really not interested in you, maybe. But then instead of us basically saying, okay, well, I'm not really interested in you, or I'm talking to a few other people right now, so or this conversation is not going anywhere. That's the mature thing to do, is to say, it was nice chatting with you, but I'm not really interested, or your profile, what I'm reading in your profile doesn't really fit, me or what I'm interested in or looking for. We don't do that though. We'll sit there, and I think that may be where sometimes I'm not sure if I ghosted them, you know, or whatever. Because when I was online, you know, when I did have the apps, you know, even though I didn't talk to them frequently, if I hopped on and they said something to me, I still said hi back to them, or how you doing, you know, whatever, and then, you know, whatever. But I wasn't interested in talking to them any further as far as like dating them or going out on a date or looking for a relationship or anything, or if it was just sexual, you know, they didn't fit what I was looking for or whatever. And I wasn't rude or whatever, where I just quit talking to them. You know, when I hopped, I didn't hit them up, but they, you know, but what they do online, people will, they just quit talking to them, and the person will come in and they'll say hi to them or whatever. They'll come back in, like you sign in later. They'll come in and they'll say, "Hey, what's up?" You know, or whatever, or I haven't heard from you in a while or whatever. And the person who won't even talk to them at all, or they'll go block them. Them, right? They'll block them, or they'll go and not say anything to them at all. That's ghosting, and that's kind of where it gets into hurtful stuff. But online, I don't know if it bothers me as much online as it would if I was dating somebody or in a relationship and they ghost me. Go ahead, Tina.
Well, is there a button on there that you can like not interested?
No.
Or no longer interested?
Somebody might come up with one. I think if you don't, on some stuff, if you don't swipe a certain way, no, they have stuff to say not interested, don't they?
They do. Like if you're trying to, because sometimes they try to match you with someone because they seem like they feel like you have similar, you know, interests or whatever. So you can do the swipe left, swipe right or whatever. And supposedly, if you swipe right, these people will never come in your algorithm or whatever. So you never should see them unless they happen to see your picture and they reach out to you on their own. And that's when
that's what I mean. If they reach out to you, that's what I'm asking. If they reach out to you, are you able to click on something that said no longer interested after you talk to them and you find there's no interest there?
No, you have to either tell them or block them.
Yeah, there was something. There was something in Jack. I can't remember exactly what it was. But if you have to pay for it, you have, you know, not the free version of Jack. It's when you pay for the version of Jack. And when I had Jack, I paid for it. And there was a little icon, and I can't remember the name of it or whatever. I might go look it up later and Google it and see what that icon is. But there was one to say that I'm not, you know, it didn't say I'm not interested. It said something else, but it let them know that you weren't interested in them. You know, and then I think in that instance, if they keep bothering you or keep texting you, you know, I think after you, if you're not responding to them, which you're ghosting them and you're not responding to them, you know, and they keep bothering you or whatever, that starts telling me there's something else going on there. Like they're stalkers, or there's some mental issue or something going on where after you stop, if you're not responding to their text messages and their comments and stuff like that, even though you have ghosted them and they're still doing that, I think there's something else going on with them. Right. Either they're doing it to annoy you because they're mad because you did ghost them, you know, so I'm going to punish you and I'm going to keep bothering you, and then until the person blocks them, you know, or whatever. Now, some people are they just play the ghost game anyway. They're just, you know, they're just nasty people, and they're not really on apps and stuff. They're not really their true selves, a lot of them. So they'll post stuff that's not really true. They'll catfish, you know, put up wrong pictures and stuff, and then so, you know, and they'll talk to you like, you know, like you are. Like they do want to get to know you and stuff, when they really have no intention of ever getting to know you, because they know that their profile is not correct, and they know that picture is not correct, or not a recent picture, or it's not a picture of them, and they have no interest. They have no, you know, but they're doing it. Some of them do it out of loneliness or whatever, but they get on there and they'll just keep whatever with no intention of ever meeting you, and then they'll eventually go ghost, because when you say, you know, let's meet, you know, or whatever, or let's, you know, we've been talking for a while, so let's meet. They have no intention of doing that, because then they have to reveal their true selves, you know, and then so they'll go ghost and never, you know, that don't mean they ain't going viewing your profile.
All right, because they can become a stalker, because some of them they will, and that's like Martina, her guy. he basically became a stalker. You know, you trying to come over my house and all this stuff. No, baby, I already told you no. You know, so sometimes, they get in those crazy little stages where they want to, really go outside of the boundaries that we've set. Mm-hmm. And now I have a right to ghost you. You know, I really, like you said, I have a right to ghost you now because now you're going beyond the boundaries that I've set for this relationship or whatever it is we have or don't have.
Yeah.
So I do have this one, and because I want to I know we're gonna probably focus a lot on dating, but when I was doing my research, it gave me 3 examples. You know, dating, it can happen where the person that you're dating just stops communicating with you.
Right.
It happens in friendships where maybe a friend stops responding or interacting with you. But another one is professional. So like a colleague, and I have an example for this one. I was working at a job where there was basically a lot of girls. Sometimes when you work with girls, it kind of gets messy and gossipy or whatever. And no, for real. I mean, it happened with men too, but yeah.
Especially with gays and girls.
Yeah. And so it was to the point where this person was causing so much mess at the job to where just to be associated with them could put a damper on you or whatever. So I got things I want to, accomplish in my career or whatever. So if this being, seen or, interacting with you is going to cause me to maybe look a certain way in upper management's eyes, then I may have to pull back. I mean, so sometimes people may think, just because you stop communicating with them or, why you don't come to lunch with me no more? Well, we used to hang out, whatever. That's a way of ghosting as well. But if you give them notice, then it's not. But if you just do it, without notice, then it's like, okay, you ghosted me.
And I think most people ain't going to give you notice. I think most people who ghost, they are, I'm not going to say all of them are cowards, but it's kind of cowardly and it's immature, I guess, to not just tell the person, give them the reason why you don't want to.
Well, it might
anymore.
It might be and then the person might be sensitive to where they want to spare feelings.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say too.
Yeah.
And sometimes a lot of it is just, and a lot of ghosting does come from you don't want to hurt the person, or you don't want to, unless you're doing it as punishment. Right. You don't really want to hurt the person. You might not be interested in the person, or you might not be interested in hanging around with them anymore. The friendship, like you said, Tina, the friendship probably has come to an end. You know what I mean? Or it has run its course. And instead of you just saying, I need to put some I would like to put some distance between us, or or this friendship has run its course, for whatever reason, people will just go ghost because they don't want to hurt they don't want to hurt the person's feelings. Right. And sometimes they don't want their feelings hurt of the ramifications of what the person might say to them. Right. If when the person does say something to them that they don't want to be around them anymore or whatever. Or sometimes, like you said, Charles, with stalking, if you're stalking them, stalking somebody, you need to go ghost, you need to get away from them for your safety and stuff, like that.
Well, I'm going to Alvin and Charles's viewers, because I'm going to get off of here in just a second. I'm not my brother Alvin, who enjoys lots of company and lots of people. I am the rest of the family
she knows everybody.
I'm the rest of the family who's very private and only
everybody in Cincinnati. Don't listen to her.
In other words, you said our viewers don't be hitting me up now.
No, she knows everybody.
As far as close friends, I only have 2 good friends.
You got what?
2 friends. 2 good friends.
I like that too. I got like 3 or 4 good friends that are the ones who, whatever. And then
that's what most people say.
Most people are acquaintances and other friends and stuff, like that. But like the ones who I confide in and stuff, like that.
Circle is real small.
It's small.
Yeah. So that's normal. You good.
But
Oh, okay.
But ghosting, it can be harmful. I think on the apps, I don't really know how most people take it on the apps. You know, if it really bothers them because it is the app and you don't take it. It is, but you don't take it serious because so many people hit you up on the app.
I don't take it serious, but you know there are some that probably do.
Yeah, I don't. When I was on the apps, I didn't take it seriously. Because I would get the, you know, like when I hop on or something, because I didn't hop on that often. It might be every 2-3 months or something that I hopped on the apps. You know, I was on there for like 2 years. And then it might be every, 2 or 3 months. And then when I get back on there, people would say, hey, stranger. So I wasn't ghosting them. I just hadn't signed in, right? But then when I did get on, if they hit me up, I didn't ghost them. I still said, hey, how you doing? Even though I wasn't interested in it, I still would hold a conversation with them. But people get on there and then they, once they had a conversation with the person or somebody, then they do ghost them and they don't talk to them. They block them or don't talk to them anymore instead of just saying, I'm not interested or whatever, or just be cordial and go on about your business or whatever. And if the person would ask, like, you want to go out on a date, then you have to have the courage and honesty to say, no, I'm not, I'm not interested, or I'm talking to somebody else right now or whatever. But that's not what most people are going to do, on the apps. And
but thank you for asking.
What? Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you for asking.
She wants to say her final thoughts. I thought you were trying to leave.
She know how to sign off.
But we want her to sign off like professionally.
No, we don't care. She can sign on, sign off, just jump in and out if she wants to. I don't care.
Martina, what you want to say, child?
I'm not just listening to y'all, child. Y'all didn't cook no meal today.
No, but you know what? I came across this. I was watching something on YouTube, and then this lady popped up on my timeline with this recipe that I'm gonna try. And it has to do with this egg crate where you make tarts and stuff out of this with egg. You don't use the eggs really except for the wash. But and I'm gonna try that. And I was gonna tell Charles we should do a little cooking thing where we try out this recipe and see if we get it right or fuck it up. But anyway, she's the gourmet.
The wash again.
What? What?
She froze, yeah.
Give you a golden brown crust.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We might try that in a week or two and do one of our little dis and dats and put it in our cooking thing.
It's the Bougetto.
The Bougetto cooking. We might do that. But yeah, she's the gourmet chef.
No, it's the real Jabuto cooking.
I'm talking about you. Yours is real.
I'm talking about y'all. Y'all be doing some ghetto stuff.
Bougetto.
He said we be doing some ghetto stuff.
That's why we call it Bougetto.
Yeah.
But yours, she's hers is Martina's atmospheric food, so she cooks for a lot of stuff, or whatever.
Come on, plug in, get your plug in,
all that type of stuff. But yes,
no, because I closed my business 2 years ago, so I'm not trying to plug nothing. I ain't trying to get no new customers.
You still do it sometimes.
I do. I have.
Just not too long ago, you were catering.
Some people who call me for stuff.
Yeah.
I just did a customer to key lime pies, so every blue moon, but I try not to do it too often.
Right.
All right. Well, anyway,
I didn't know if I had to bring my mama down before the summer was over to visit Alvin, and then we can let her do some cooking on y'all stuff.
Yeah, if you come down, we can do a live and do some cooking on it.
Yeah.
Put it in our dis and dat section.
Sure.
I would love for y'all to come out here.
Or when I come up there, I'll bring my camera. When I come up this summer, I'll bring it, and then we can we can do a live. We can pull Charles in unless he comes with me. But if he doesn't, we can pull him in from down there too, and then we can. Do some
You're welcome, Charles. We're a pretty welcoming family.
Yeah, we are very very welcoming.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I told him. I said, if you go home, if I can do it, I will go with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just let me know when, because I got a couple of trips scheduled.
All right, trips.
Listen, Puerto Rico.
We had fun there.
Get some Puerto Ricans.
So I'm gonna read this definition here on this one right here. It says,
"Love y'all, bye."
Love you too.
All right, love you.
Some ghosters exhibit a short-term orientation, which can be a reason for their ghosting behavior. They may view others as disposable or use them for specific purposes rather than investing in long-term relationships. So that falls into, to me, that it can fall into the friendship thing too. You know, sometimes people can only use you, they only want you as a friend for maybe you might have clout or something.
Right.
Or
what they can get out of it.
Or what we talked about last week with privilege and stuff. You know, you have a lot of privilege and stuff, or, you know, and so, or they may use you, you know, like that. But you know, a lot of them sometimes with this, they have ulterior motives for being your friend or dating you or being in a relationship. They want to get something out of it that serves their self-interest. And then once they get that, they ghost you. You know, and they don't give you no reason. You don't hear from them again until they might want something. They might pop back up later. You know, when they need something, or whoever they went to after that didn't serve their purpose or didn't meet their needs, or they didn't get out of it what they thought they were going to get out of it, then they may come back to you like, oh, the grass wasn't greener on, you know, it wasn't greener on the other side. You know what I mean? And sometimes people do think that the grass is greener on, especially in relationships. They can be with you and you can be, you know, right for that person. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing stuff right and stuff, you know, aside from your regular little things that happen in a relationship, you know, you could be right for that person. And they know you can probably be right for them, but they think it's greener on the other side. They think it's something better on the other side, you know, so they may ghost you for a while, you know, or whatever, and then go pursue something else or whatever. And then when that doesn't work out for them, you know, or it's not working out for them, so then they want to maybe come back to you like, oh, I did, you know, that person was right for me, and you know, and whatever, but they done ghosted you, no contact, you know, or whatever. And then all of a sudden they're back, you know, or they want you back, you know, or the person, or they might have ghosted you, and the other person don't want them no more, or they're not able to get the sex and all the other stuff out there, you know, so readily or whatever, what that they thought they was going to get or whatever, or they'll get into a better, what they think is a better relationship or something, and it doesn't work out that way, and then they want to come back, you know, after that type of stuff, after they ghosted you, and then, you know, so they may ghost you for short term or put you on hold. I'm gonna ghost you. I'm gonna put you on hold for right now, but I know, you know, I'll slip my way back in, you know, or whatever. You know, if this doesn't work out. So there's all type of ghosting stuff out there. And then sometimes they just don't want to invest in a long-term relationship. So they'll, you know, they'll keep you for as long as they're going to keep you around, and then they'll ghost you and move on to something else, which is very harmful too. You know, or whatever, because then they can ghost you and they don't let you know. You don't know why they ghosted you. You don't know why they left you. They know why they did it, you know, or whatever. And it might be a game that they play, you know, because they play that with everybody, you know. And then also that falls into the, you know, narcissists do that a lot to people, you know. Actually, most narcissists ghost people, you know. They ghost you, and then they also give you the silent treatment, you know. And ghosting and the silent treatment, they kind of fall in the same category. They're a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
When I saw it, when you gave me the two, I put ghosting like pre-relationship. You know, it hasn't really become a relationship yet, and then I put silent treatment with the people that are in relationships, and the person is trying to use it, you know, maybe for manipulation or whatever, you know, trying to get you to do something that you normally wouldn't do. And they think, you know, if I put them on a silent treatment, I can get my way or whatever. But yeah, I have some reasons for ghosting. Like, some people are scared of confrontation. It's uncomfortable to tell someone, hey, I'm just not that into you. You know, you don't want to have that confrontation, so you just ghost them. Or maybe they're dealing with stuff, emotional unavailability. Like, they really are struggling with their own intimacy issues, you know, fear of commitment. I have self-protection, lack of emotional maturity. Like we said, it's very immature. It's very impolite. is disrespectful. But some people have not grown up in that area where they consider others. It's all about them, so they're very immature. And then I have different expectations. Like I may want this out of this, and you may want that. And instead of you telling me and making it known, you just leave. You just flee the scene. And then there may be personal issues going on. Like you may actually have something going on that, and the time that the one recent time that I was ghosted, that was the guy's reason. Like I have a lot going on. It wasn't nothing personal to you, and they left, and then they came back because I guess they thought they got their personal stuff down, but it happened again. So I mean, you still didn't work your shit out, and then the last one is like fear of just being vulnerable. They just have a difficulty of opening up and sharing stuff. So, because sometimes, I hate that too. And I can be like that too, where you don't know how to lead the conversation. You know what I mean? And some of them, it'd be like so bland. Like some people even have on their profile, don't what's up me. Don't hey me. Because it gets ignoring. Because a lot of people, that's how they reach out to you, especially on the app. Hey, what's up?
Right.
It's like, can we get some depth into this conversation?
We have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how on the apps, when people are doing that, it's not going nowhere anyway. That they can't really hold a good conversation, or if they do, they're not going to hold it with you,
right?
Or when they're doing that, a lot of times they're just looking for a hookup or sex,
right?
Or they want you to show them a booty or dick pic, and when you don't show that, then they ghost you.
Yeah,
it's like because that's all they were after. They weren't really after. They weren't really after to like dating or anything. They were just they wanted pictures of you, and then.
And they want to hit,
and they want or they want something sexual, and if you don't provide that to them, then they ghost you.
Yeah,
whatever. And then, but it says soft ghosting, a behavior where one person gradually reduces their level of communication or interaction with another person without fully cutting off contact. Unlike traditional ghosting, where all contact abruptly stops. Soft ghosting involves a more gradual and subtle reduction in communication. That can be very harmful too. Yes. Even because there's still that happens in relationships a lot. Like the dating and relationships where you're in a relationship with them, and one that I was in, I started feeling that, where our instincts start telling us something's wrong. We tend to overlook it a lot, or whatever, because it is our relationship. But I started feeling that, because the person, while like when we first met, and stuff, like that, it's like the constant text, and then the calls, the video, what's it called? The FaceTime, all of that type of stuff, and then you get into the relationship, and then they're calling and checking them, saying hey throughout the day. And it's, and you get used to that pattern, and you're doing the same thing, and it's a pattern. And then that pattern somehow, it breaks when that's when something is not right. And they don't have the maturity to tell you. Now, like I say, in my instances, it was a form of punishment. It wasn't because they were busy or they had so much going on, or I forgot or whatever. It was, because you can understand that type of stuff.
Right.
But, when you have this pattern and this is the way your daily life goes throughout the day, and then all of a sudden, you're getting the text in the morning, that text that you got throughout the day, you only get it. You get it at nighttime when it's like, all right, good night, babe, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's what was starting to happen to me in one of my relationships, and I noticed it, but I just kind of overlooked it, or whatever. And then, but it happened because I was being punished. Now I knew I was being punished because of some instances that had happened earlier in the week. Where I was told off, basically. Or whatever. And then so right after that started happening. So that's how That's how you can tell sometimes when it's the difference between where it's not really intentional,
right,
or when it was done to be where you were done to be punished,
right.
you know,
They want to hurt
and
you.
it just happened, you know. Like I said, narcissists do that in relationships. You know, they want to punish you for it because they didn't get the reaction they wanted from you, or they didn't get the behavior that they wanted from you, or you're not responding to them in a certain way that they want you to. So then I'm going to punish you.
Right.
But also in that note, in addition to that, you know, when I was in this relationship too, ghosting can happen right in front of your face. You know, they can do it while you're sitting there, and that involves the ghosting, but it also involves the silent treatment. They intermingle them both, where they sit there, you know, and they'll ignore you, you know, and talk to everybody else, you know. And that happened to me where I was, you know, in a restaurant, you know, with the group of their friends, and then I got ghosted, you know, which I didn't even know that could happen. You know, like you're going to get ghosted right in front of, you know, the person walks right in. I know, but the person walks right in and then, you know, is interacting with everybody else and doesn't say anything to me at all. You know, it's no interaction. You know, even when I basically got the silent treatment through the whole thing. You know what I mean? Yes. And then it wasn't acceptable. It hurt me to the core. You know, it destroyed me. And then it actually, that destroyed the relationship too, because a week later it was over. I kept thinking about it. I couldn't let it go, and it destroyed me. You know what I mean? And I had to say, we have to have a separation. But the ghosting part was, you know, you walk in and it's almost like I'm not there, like I'm the ghost.
Right.
You know, that's what it was.
You're invisible.
You know, you were ghosting me, but I was being ghosted. But I was the ghost because it was like you didn't see me there, and you intentionally punished me and let me sit there and be humiliated in front of everybody. And then also, even though I could have got up and left, but I was so humiliated that I couldn't even bring myself to, you know, to move, you know, or whatever. And then when we left the place, that's where that partial ghosting came in too. You know, like the silent treatment, partial ghosting. You know, you ghosted me while I was in there because I was the actual ghost unseen, the person unseen. But then when I get in the car driving home, everybody leaves. Then all of a sudden you're calling me on my phone. Hey, babe, did you make it home? That was, you know, so that's how you know that evil. I was being punished. It was evil, but that's how you know that I was being punished, you know. And then we argued all the way home, you know. And then after that, then I didn't want to talk to the person anymore. You know, it was like, and when they were texting me, you know, or calling me, then I guess maybe I did the ghosting because I didn't pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't return the text until a couple of days. It was a day or two later or something. That's when I returned the text. And it was an angry, nasty, mean text that I sent. But so I guess I ghosted that person in that instance because, you know, what they had did to me out of punishment. And I guess that I reverted back with a ghosting. I mean, I don't know if that's really ghosting.
I mean, I wouldn't say that you ghosted them. I would say that you, because I'm looking at reasons why people ghost, and one of the first ones is, I mean, like when people ghost you, what should you do? And one of the things you should do is give them space. And I felt like that's what you were doing. You were giving yourself space. So you really wasn't ghosting them. You just needed to take some time to like, okay, let me collect, you know, whatever. But I mean, you can say that you ghosted him after he ghosted you, but you really needed your space to just collect everything, review the story, because maybe, you know, well, let me just see, maybe I did something. You know, sometimes you got to question yourself. Well, maybe I did something, and then no, I didn't do nothing. So you just retrace everything and just to make sure. But like, I'm not ready to talk to you because I know if I talk to you right now, it's not gonna be pretty. So give me a few days because I need to like collect all this, and I
also didn't know what happened. I didn't understand it. You know, I understand now that it was ghosting and silent treatment, and it was a form of punishment and manipulation. I didn't understand that at the time, you know, but my therapist helped me understand that, you know, helped me see that part of it. But it says that's called narcissistic ghosting. It says, is when someone with narcissistic traits abruptly ends a relationship or cuts off contact with another person without explanation or closure. It can be a form of emotional manipulation and power play used to punish, control, or disorient the other person. Ghosting can be especially hurtful because it can leave the other person feeling confused, abandoned, and emotionally devastated. And that's exactly how I felt, confused, abandoned, and emotionally devastated.
Right. It's hurtful. It's frustrating.
Right. And then my retort and so my reaction to that is I ghosted that person, or whatever. And then it was, and I actually once we broke up, I didn't really talk to the person for months.
Right.
Until I was trying, then because he kept asking, to talk, or whatever, and I just couldn't do it. I was so hurt or whatever. Right. And then, so I guess I came back from the dead, from being ghosted, from me being the ghost. I guess I came back from the dead, and then I talked to him, so I can get closure, or whatever. But in the instance there, he didn't give me any type of closure. He just did it, and it turns out that he's done it to a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And then, because like I said, everybody on social media, Facebook, everybody knows everybody, and they all talk and tell. They tell all type of shit, or whatever. So you find out a lot of stuff later, of what was going on and stuff. But the ghosting, that hurt me to the core. Yeah. It just really it hurt me to the core. And that was it was a manipulation tactic for one thing, because what had happened earlier in the week or whatever didn't sit well with him, or whatever. So he did it to punish me and to manipulate me to be what he wanted me to be, or what whatever. So there was a lot going on.
And another word that when I was talking about mental health, like from my mental health or whatever, in these situations, another word that we use, especially in business, is self-care. Like I need to just take care of myself in this moment or whatever. Right. I need to, even if you have been ghosted or whatever, you take that time and just focus on you, engage in activities like that you enjoy. Like you may like working out or sports or movies, do that kind of stuff. And just practice loving yourself, self-compassion or whatever. Don't give them a lot of thought. I will probably send like one little text just to say, and I did this with the guy that goes to me. I just sent one little text to be like, hey, you okay? Everything all right? And that's it. That's all I'm gonna do because I know my worth, and I'm not about to, baby. I'm not about to be chasing you. So I'm gonna give you that one little text. Hey, everything all right? Is this, do you need me for something? I haven't heard from you. Like, what's going on? And if you don't respond to that, then that door is closed. I'm moving on.
I'm like that too. I'm not gonna chase you.
Yeah.
If I get the ink now, if I don't know that you're ghosting me, and it might be something wrong, like something has happened, like an accident or a family tragedy or something that you had to go tend to, or just your job took you somewhere or whatever. That's understandable to me. You still can say I got this going on, but a lot of people don't. They just go whatever. But if I get a hint that you have ghosted me, or whatever, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Whatever. I'm not.
The door is closed.
And then with guys, even if you're dating them and stuff, and if they're getting mad at you, because sometimes they get mad at you because you haven't responded right away, or sometimes you can't go with them this time on a date. Some guys get mad at you for different reasons, and then they'll punish you by ghosting you. And then if I've been going out on a date with you, just say we've been on 1 or 2 or 3 dates, and then I get the inkling that you are ghosting me because you're punishing me because, for whatever reason,
right.
whatever, then I guess that's where I would end up ghosting you back.
Exactly.
Right? That means if I get that inkling, then I'm not going to text you, I'm not going to call you, and I'm going to go on about my business, and then I'm not going to, I'm not going to worry about whether I'm going to date you anymore or you want to date me or whatever. And then if you hit me up later, because a lot of times they have, after they, after I felt that they ghosted me and I just did not talk to them no more. Sometimes it's a few days later, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a few months later. They're hitting you back up,
right?
And then I'm cordial to them,
right?
So I'm cordial to them, but I'm not considering them like to date.
Right.
Or to even be friends with, or to be around.
Like I just opened the door a little bit.
Right. I'll just be nice, like, oh hey, how you doing back? And stuff, like that. Because I remember when I was, when I was in the relationship with my last relationship I was in, there was there was like 3 guys that I had dated, over that course before I got into a relationship with him, right? And then one of them in there, definitely I knew he had ghosted me, whatever, because he got mad because he thought when he was up here, he thought some other guy was trying to pick me up in the movie theater, right? So I knew he had ghosted me because when he left and went back to, because he lived out of town, when he left and went back, he didn't text me, he didn't call me. I had sent a text like, a text, like, hey, did you make it safely or whatever? He never responded. So I knew he was mad, and I knew he was punishing me because, I got upset with him for wanting to fight the waiter. Okay.
Yeah,
I told you about that. But he got upset with me for wanting to fight the waiter, and I didn't like that, whatever. So I knew he had ghosted me. But then he ends up, FaceTiming me again a few months later, as if I was still dating him, and he was like, oh, hey, hey, you my man, so and so. And I told him, I said, no, I have a boyfriend now, and I'm in a relationship, and I wasn't mean to him or anything, like that.
Right.
But I let him know that I was in a relationship and I couldn't be talking with him, on the through text or anything and stuff, like that.
Right.
And he had said, I'm gonna come up there and kick his ass, but he really wasn't. He was just playing. I'm gonna come up there and kick his ass, But that, that was just, whatever. But he had ghosted me. Now I have another friend, which it doesn't bother me because I know he doesn't actually ghost me. It's like what you're saying. He talks about his mental health, right? And that he has to
self-care.
Self-care. That's what he talks about. And it's not just me. He's with everybody, with his family, friends,
and that's balance.
Job,
that's good.
Everything. He's with that where he has to take time to himself, and then he'll come back around. Every few months. And
I want to see a Capricorn. What's the sign?
I don't know what his sign is, but that's the one I told you. That's my little, not little, but the one I met when he was 25. He's 28 now. And then me and him have an understanding, right? That he's not ghosting me. He has to take that time for his self-care, whatever and stuff. And I understand that 100%.
Yes.
But he always lets me know, that I'm gonna,
So I need some. He gives you notice.
Yeah. So he's not really ghosting me, but he will ghost other people because he told me, or whatever. But I might not see him or talk to him for weeks or months and stuff, and then we pick up right back where we left off and stuff, like that. And then and it's not like sexual or anything, right? You know what I'm talking about? It's not sexual, even though we might kiss and mess around and do stuff, like that. But it's not like a sexual thing, nothing, like that. We just like to be in each other's company and stuff. But he had hit me up when I was in my relationship too, and I had to tell him too, even though he didn't really ghost me, but I had told him I'm in a relationship now, and so he left me alone until he found out that I wasn't in a relationship anymore. How he found out, we were at Marty's, and I know you think that I was with that other guy, but I actually. He was there, and then me and him, he actually rescued me, or whatever. So then me and him hung out again and stuff. But every few months or something, he'll text or call or run into me or whatever. And that's probably like soft ghosting, even though he lets me know, whatever. Know. He's still ghosting because he goes ghosted. I don't see for a while, stuff. But he's not
you have an understanding,
right? We have, it's like an understanding. I know that's going to happen and stuff, like that. Mm-hmm. And then, but if I'm in a relationship or something, then I'm not going to carry on a conversation with him or meet up with him or do anything like that. But outside of the relationship, yeah, or whatever.
Because y'all are friends with benefits.
We can hang out. No, we don't. It's not benefits.
Then why can't you talk to him if you're in a relationship?
Because we already had that discussion about friends with benefits. When I'm in a relationship, I don't want to be friends. I don't want to be hanging out. That's too, I don't want to put that on my partner. I wouldn't want my partner to be uncomfortable, with somebody I done had sex with in this, and they're running around the same room and stuff. And that's just not me. We had that discussion. But anyway, so let me but yeah, that threw me off when you said
because
with the friends with benefits.
Because I'm trying to understand if y'all haven't done anything or y'all don't do things.
We don't have the penetration type sex or anything, like that. It's just more like we kiss and cuddle and sleep, we'll sleep and we go out and do stuff together. We have fun together. Like we'll go eat, we go hang out here. Like we went to the casino, and we did that type of stuff. But it wasn't, we didn't have sex or anything like that. But we just, we cuddled in the bed and stuff. And then we caught up with the times when we were around, what we've been doing, who we've been seeing, and stuff, like that. And we just hung out and ate and just did stuff like that.
That will be a friend with benefits.
No, that's not friends with benefits because we're not like having sex or anything like that. He's a friend, but because like we say, when friends can ghost you or something, but he doesn't. It's kind of like a soft ghost, and we understand that type of stuff. There's no hurt feelings or anything when he's not around or I'm not around or whatever. We just pick up and start hanging out and go do stuff. It's that type of stuff. It's not sexual. At least it hasn't been, the last few times that when we ran into each other.
God!
But I had ran into him. I had ran into him a few times, even when I wasn't in the relationship. Where I hadn't seen him for a while. And then he'll hit me up or something, and then it's that type of stuff. And then we hang out and do stuff or whatever, but it's not sexual. Mm-hmm. Not like that. Now I don't know. Maybe later down the line it might. Right there, but right now it's not that. And you can have friends and stuff without, and do stuff with them, and it doesn't have to be sexual like that.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, you can. So if that was the type of friend I had, and I started dating someone, that person would still be my friend. I mean, I would still hang out with them. Well, because I know I haven't done anything with them. It wouldn't be a problem to have that friend and the person I'm dating, in the same room because I haven't done anything with them.
Unless but we already had that discussion where if the person's in the room, and then what if they want to? You said you wouldn't tell the person who you're with that you had sex with that person.
You had sex with your friend?
Huh?
You had sex with your friend?
When I first met him. That was a long, and it was. We were dating at that time. We were dating, and but nothing became of it. But yeah, you had said that if the person was in the room with you, okay, and then that person that you had, your friends with benefits was in there, I had asked you, would that make you uncomfortable?
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that you and your friend had sex. I just thought that you said you just cuddle and you kiss and.
Yeah, no. Early on, when I first met him, it wasn't like sex like the way it wasn't like penetration type sex. We were just doing things, but it wasn't really that. I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't really that. But anyway, I wouldn't want somebody who I have had sex with hanging out with me and my partner, or something like that. That would make me uncomfortable. And it would, like, I know with my ex, it would have made him uncomfortable because he was uncomfortable with me just being friends with somebody who I hadn't had, who I hadn't did anything with or whatever. So anyway, but since narcissists often use ignoring as a form of manipulation and control, when they ignore you, it may be a tactic to make you feel devalued or punished for not fulfilling their expectations. And then that's where the ghosting comes in a relationship or dating thing, when you're dating or in a relationship with a narcissist. So theirs is more manipulation, control, and punishment, other than just just the regular ghosting that you tend to get on the apps or something, or you just was dating somebody and they're not interested in you no more, and they just go ghost. For, just like because they don't want to date you no more, they don't have the courage to tell you that.
They're over it.
Yeah, so there's and then there's the social media. We talked about that. In dating apps, leading ghosters believe that if one person don't work out, and that's what you find a lot in the dating apps. You know what I'm saying? It's so many. It's the dating apps, and I guess Facebook and all the places. Because people are picking people up on IG and Facebook, doing all that type of stuff now. But with the social media ghosters, the mindset can stem from the perception of endless opportunities, and there's so many people in there, and there's so many of them hitting you up. Sometimes you can't even keep up with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there's so many people that's hitting you up in those apps. And they, it leads them to believe that if one person doesn't work out, they can easily find another because there's so many of them in there. And that's what you were talking about earlier. Too. I mean, there's so many. Well, hell, I tried to hit on this person, whatever, and they may ghost you and block you because you might go hit them up later or something like, hey, how you doing? And then they don't respond or whatever,
right?
Because they may have already found somebody else in there, or they're talking to other people and you don't interest them anymore. So that's a reason why some people are ghosting and stuff in the apps. But like what you were saying, it's still harmful and hurtful to some people in there. And like it doesn't bother me in there because I didn't know them. It only bothers me if I know the person.
Right. If you know them, then it stings. Yeah.
That's when.
But if I don't know you, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they should get to the root of like why. Like if you hit me up on social media and then all of a sudden you ghost me because there's somebody, well, this one didn't want to go to this person or whatever. Why are you doing that? What is going on with you? It's almost like they've had past experiences that they need to deal with. You know what I mean? Because why would whatever's going on with us make you stop and then you just jumping. You've been like a grasshopper. You just jumping to whoever because the people are there or whatever. So who hurt you? Like, because I don't respond on time, that hurt you? Why not just say, hey, I realize you may have been busy or whatever. I mean, or give me a chance to explain why I wasn't available the second you needed me to be available. And so you took that as, okay, well, let me just hop on over to John. Or let me hop over to Bob. Why?
So that means they really weren't even interested in you anyway.
Right.
If you can hop back and forth, with so many people, they're really not that interested in you anyway. Even though they may lie in these profiles and tell you this or say something to you or whatever to lead you on to think that they may be interested in you.
Right.
I think in those instances like that, they really aren't interested in you.
They're not.
And it's like I said, there's so many of them out there. Well, I'm going to go get this, and then I'll come back to you.
Right.
If I don't get this, then I can come back to you.
I'll circle back.
Like you're their sloppy leftovers.
Right.
But they'll ghost you in the meantime. That's crazy. But I'm getting ready to get off this narcissist topic here in a second here with ghosting, but it's so prevalent with narcissists, and sometimes people don't even know it, but it says those with narcissistic tendencies may be more likely to unexpectedly in contact with a partner. Ghosting itself reflects some classic traits of narcissistic including low self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
The need to have the upper hand in a relationship, and lack of empathy for the other person. And narcissists can exhibit empathy in public, but they don't really have true empathy.
Right.
They can have a little bit of empathy, but it's not really.
It's for play.
Yeah, it's not real, true empathy. They in public they display it
a persona.
For people, because that's their image. And they want their image to be clean and want people to see them in this perfect. I'm this type of person, but that's not really who they are in the background. And so that empathy tends to go away, except, and it shows itself mainly in public, and then when they are showing you empathy, a lot of times it's not real, it's not real true empathy that they have empathy for you. It's usually they're manipulating you or what they can get out of the situation, or it's a form of control, and in that relationship, they will go ghost on you while you're sitting right there. It's like the silent treatment. You can be sitting right there and they'll be totally ignoring you the whole day until they're ready to talk.
So they're ready to talk.
Or whatever. Or they'll get to pretending like they're doing stuff around the house or doing all type of crazy stuff, or on their phones. They're in their phones constantly and they're totally ignoring you until they want to pay you attention or whatever. But in that instant, until then, you're invisible to me. You're the ghost. Then you're the ghost again. I don't see you, or whatever. And you're getting the silent treatment.
You're a non motherfucking factor, as Elvin said.
And it's so hurtful, And then,
but like I say, it's not a reflection of your worth or value. It's often it's a reflection of them and how they're not able to communicate their feelings or their boundaries. So it says more about them and their character and their whole makeup as a person and how they don't even value other people's feelings. That you're that selfish that you don't even care. You haven't even, like you say, they show empathy, and empathy is basically putting yourself in their shoes, putting yourself in someone else's shoes. But you don't have that. You'll say that to smooth it over, because like you say, you're manipulating the whole situation. But you don't have true empathy, because if you had true empathy, obviously change.
Right.
But you keep doing this.
You keep doing it over and over.
Yeah.
And see, that's where I came in too, where you're very forgiving. I'm a forgiving person, but if you're doing something to me, you're doing the same shit over and over, which I could be letting it happen because that's my fault for allowing it to happen, because people only can do to you what you let them do. But when you're doing, I don't feel the need that I have to forgive you. In those instances, there's certain instances where I'm not going to forgive you. I don't feel bad for not forgiving because you keep doing. It's a pattern, and you do it over and over, and then you can say, "I'm sorry." You can say, I'm never going to do that again, babe. Oh, babe, it's my fault. I'm so and so.
Yeah.
But then you go back and you do it again, and you repeat it and stuff. Then I don't have this. I don't have empathy for you, and I don't, and the crying and all that stuff. That's a manipulation tactic.
Exactly.
Too. But then I don't feel the need to forgive you while you keep hurting me or hurting other people around me. I don't feel the need to forgive.
Because at this point, you're hard.
Very forgiving.
You've got like I do get hard at times. I would say you get to a point where you get hard. Like I'm soft right now, and I'm forgiving or whatever. But if you just keep on doing it, I'm gonna get hard to that because I'm like, they're empty words. You don't really mean this or whatever. And to protect me, we're going back to that mental health self-care thing. I have to let you go or whatever. And I guess it's because of the way I was raised and taught, which, like I said, the last time we had that forgiveness thing, it made me rethink it. Like, I don't have to, but it's just a thing that I was taught and learned, growing up in church and stuff like that, that I will forgive you, but you're not getting past this because you have shown over and over. I set boundaries. So, and and that's just the way I see it today. It might be different tomorrow. I may just go ahead and kill you. You know, that's basically what to me. That's what unforgiveness is. It's almost like I don't care what you. Yeah, you're dead to me. I don't care what you say. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Me on the end, at the point I am today, June 23rd, I will forgive you. However, I will set my boundary or whatever. I will get hard to the excuses and the, apologies and, my mistake, my bad, bro. I'm gonna get hard to that, and I have to protect myself. But I think if a person does take me too far, it probably will get to the point where, yeah, you're dead to me or whatever. I mean, there's some people like, my friend, I see him and you'll say, go speak to him. I'm not there yet. I probably will get there at one point or whatever, but right now I'm not there yet or whatever. But yeah.
So how many times should you, if somebody's ghosted you, or if somebody's ghosting people, how many times do you think they should reach out, or would you reach out to them if you don't really? I mean, once you know that they're ghosting you, or if you feel that they're ghosting you, how many do you reach out to them one time and say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Is everything okay? And then they don't respond. Do you reach out to them again, or should you reach out to them again like 2 times, or is it or is it 3 times is the limit, or is just that one time reaching out to them? Is that enough?
It's one time for me. Like I said before, I'll reach out and be like, hey, everything okay? I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah. If you haven't responded by then yeah, I'm done, because I have to protect me. I have to think about my self-care. I can't stop my life, because evidently we were probably at a point where I'm thinking, okay, my weekends are probably going to be with this person. Right. So I'm already scheduling, mentally, we're going to some movies, we're going to go out, so my life is with you.
Spending time, with you. Think.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what it's going to be. And now you done effed up. So now it's like, okay, I need to get back to me. And I'm not going to stop my life just because I already penciled in, it's going to be me and you, me and you, me and you. Well, now it's going to be me.
Plans. You have plans. That's ghosting too, because you have plans and they continuously cancel those plans with you.
Yeah.
And then y'all done made plans, and then they ghost you and don't even tell you that they're not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or don't let you know that something else came up or anything like that. They just go ghost, and then you don't know. Mm-hmm. So then what about like you meet somebody, you say you're talking to them on the apps, or you meet somebody and then y'all have gone out on a date or two, and then all of a sudden and y'all seem like y'all communicating real well. You like them and it seems like they like you. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they don't return your text or whatever, or they just haven't texted you all day or something, like that. And then another day goes on. Do you wait one day? Is one day acceptable before you contact them, or do you just not contact them again? Just say, and then after 2 or 3 days they haven't contacted you. You really pretty much know that they're not interested in you, or me, I wouldn't contact them. After if I haven't heard from you, like we made a contact, and then we talked on the phone, and we had planned to like go out on a date or something, or meet up or something, like that, and then you haven't contacted me. I'm not talking about sexually, where you done picked up somebody for a one-night stand or a casual sex, and you don't hear from them for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they hit you back up. To me, that's not ghosting. You know what I mean? But if you plan like to date, like y'all want to get to know each other, and then after 2 or 3 days they haven't hit you up, to me that you've been ghosted. I would not hit them back up.
I guess it depends on the stage that you're in. Uh-huh. So like, say I met a new friend, and we're talking or whatever. If I don't hear from them all day, they're new. So I don't know where their whole life encompasses or whatever. I'm still learning you. So I'm okay, but I may check in or they may check in. But if I don't hear from them, I'll just follow up maybe the next morning just to see if I get a response or whatever. Because I'm new, I don't know your daily routine. But if we've been talking for some time now,
and about a few days.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm giving my answer. So the few days, that stage right there, I'm okay with that because I don't know everything about you at this point. I'm still learning you. So, and then this is where I set my boundaries too, because I can, if you set yours, so I can tell you, well, I really didn't like that I didn't hear from you, and you can either accept it or not. If you're not the type of person that you know, like, well, I'm not gonna be able to comply with that, then yeah, we shouldn't even go on because that's something I'm needing. That, and this is just a few days. So for me, just knowing a person a few days, I don't really expect all that, oh, we're gonna be on the phone all night, or I need to hear from you every day. I need that good morning, because I'm still getting to know you. You may be a CEO of your life may be so busy, and I don't know that yet because maybe I didn't ask the questions those first few days to know how busy your life is or whatever. But I'm gonna get down to it because I want to know why I haven't heard from you in 24 hours or whatever. If I really think that this is somebody that I'm interested in, I want to know or whatever. But yeah, so that in that stage, yeah, it probably wouldn't bother me that much. But yeah, if you're in this stage where we've been talking for a while now, then yeah, I'm gonna be like, okay, why haven't I heard from you? And then of course in dating, I expect I should hear from you every day. We're in a relationship or whatever. It's like, why wouldn't you talk to me? Or at least give me a reason why you couldn't or whatever.
I think if we have both given each other the indication that we are interested in each other, or we like each other and want to get to know each other a little bit more. If that first day, and we've been talking and communicating that first day, and then we have given that go ahead, like, oh yeah, I would like to go out on a date with you, or would like to see you more, and they give me that indication and stuff too. And then the next day, I don't hear from them at all, then to me, that's a red flag. That's something, I don't have to know everything about you, whatever, because you'll find that type of stuff out after you do start dating and talking, or going out on dates and talking more. But unless you've told me, I'm not going to be available tomorrow because I'm busy, I'm doing this or so and so, and then, but we have given each other the indication, then the next day, if I don't hear from you, or I text you and you don't text me back all day, or I call you and you don't return the call, I'm already feeling like, okay, I just been ghosted, and then I'm not going to text you or call you or do anything anymore, and then and if you text me 3 days later, like, hey, what's up or something, I'm not interested. I'm just not interested because we had given each other that indication that we were interested in each other then,
Yeah, the interest is there. Evidently, we're talking. However, it seems like you're not gonna ask the person. You're just gonna be like, if I heard from you, it's over. I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna ask because it may be something I'm missing. It may be something that I didn't get clear, or we haven't been clear because I haven't given you my schedule. People be like, sometimes people ask you, when are you available or whatever. When is the best time to contact you? Maybe we haven't had that, or maybe I just don't know. So because I don't know, I will ask. I don't take it because I didn't hear from you. Okay, it's over with. No, I want to know. So I'll ask. And so it depends on what their answer is. Now, if their answer is, well, I just never thought about you all day.
So in 3 days, like say.
Now, I'm not going to wait till 3 days.
3 days they haven't contacted you?
So the issue with that.
You have sent them a text?
So the issue with that is no one is ever gonna get to do me 3 days like that. Because because everything's fine over here, so I'm still gonna reach out. Now the ghosting is when you don't respond.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
So no, I'm not gonna let it go 3 days. It's gonna be that first day, because the first day that you did not respond, I'm gonna send like a good morning or what happened, and then if you don't tell me like, oh, it's because this or or whatever, then I already know where I'm going with that. So it won't even get to no 3 days. It's gonna be that first day. I'm gonna ask. I'm not gonna say because this person didn't respond to me this first day that it's over. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna reach out because I want to know. I don't want to waste my time,
Right.
and I want to know what's going on in your mind, and I'm gonna let you know. What how I view this or where I want to see it go. And if we're not on the same page, then hey, let's go ahead and call this quits or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, if we were both interested in each other and we gave each other the signals that we wanted to see each other with, I'm not so concerned about it that same day. Like we say we communicated that day, I'm not concerned that you didn't communicate with me again that day or later or whatever. And I'm not concerned, a lot of times with me, when I meet people or whatever, I don't like to interrupt their work day, right? So I don't usually, unless they tell me to, I usually won't communicate with them during the day, when they are at work, but sometimes they get upset with you because you don't communicate with them and they think that something's up or wrong because to me it's just more respect thing, like I know you're at work and people get busy and they can't always be communicating back and forth with you like that.
And see, that's why I'm going to ask you, and then when you tell me that's why you don't do it, then we're good.
But that's when I know that, because most people who I've met, they, I do find out their work thing, and I even tell them ahead of time, like I don't really like texting people during work. And they was like, no, just text me. They're letting me know that they're interested in me when they say, no, you can text me anytime. Oh, you can do so and so.
I would love to hear from you.
And that means, and if I say the same thing, it's kind of letting me know that, even though I may not do it all throughout the day, whatever. I didn't ever have a problem with them texting me throughout the day, whatever. But I have this thing about I don't want to bother people at work and stuff. But then when they're off work, I give them a little bit of time to, because it's not that I'm not thinking about them, right? Mm-hmm. But I give them a little bit of time to get settled in and stuff. And then I might text and say, hey, what's up? How was your work day? Right. Now, if they don't respond, you don't have to respond right away. But if I had sent that text and then you didn't respond, and then the next day you haven't responded, if it wasn't an emergency and somebody was dead or, what I'm saying, or there was something that came up where you couldn't do it or whatever. And then you also, and then people, because then you see them posting or texting on social medias or other, you know what I'm saying? Or you see shit like that, whatever. Then, to me, you're not interested in me like that,
So you have to tell me.
And then you didn't respond. And then 3 days later or 4 days later, then all of a sudden you're like, hey, what's up? Well, then you really let me know that you really wasn't interested in me anyway, and that you probably somebody else, what you thought better came along, or whatever, or something else that you was interested in, and then you went for that or whatever. Then I'm not, to me, I've been ghosted, and I'm not going to respond. I might say, once you hit me up, I'm going to say, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? But I'm not going to be interested in you that day.
Right.
Nothing's going further as far as pursuing dating or anything, or even friendship, because it tells me what type of person that you really are.
Right.
That's a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Even the next day, you know what I'm saying? If all that next day, if we had text through the day before and then the next day, no text comes through at all that day, or it's like real late at night and then there's no, you know what I'm saying, while I'm asleep or something and you text me and stuff, it's like you're intentionally, don't be a coward, just say I'm not interested.
Just say it,
just say I'm not interested, or it was nice talking with you, whatever, but I don't think that, whatever. I can take that better than you just,
not
ghost me,
yeah.
Or whatever. Even though I don't know you that well, it's probably not going to hurt me or it might be a little sting there, but it's not going to hurt me where it affects me, where I'm sitting around thinking about it. I let it go.
Right.
I mean, I'm not interested in you. You're really not interested in me. So you can ghost me and do, whatever.
Right.
If you text me 3-4 weeks later, it'll be like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm doing okay. Right. And then I go on about my business. I'm not going to text you anymore, or whatever. Now, if you text me again, I'll respond cordially, but I'm not texting you as far as like to get to know you or to date or anything and stuff, like that. So really, a day is enough for me. And if I can figure out that you ghosted me, then I don't, I'm not texting you anyway.
Right.
So, it's ghosting. It's something though, and so like with the friend things though, so with ghosting with friends, we don't always talk to our friends every day anyway. Some friends talk every single day, and then some, you might talk every few days or something. You might get a text or whatever and stuff. So I don't, some people feel like it's ghosting if their friend, if they've texted their friend and their friend hasn't texted them back in a few hours or something like that. They feel like their friend ghosts them all the time. How do you feel about that? Or like they get upset if you're every day you're not texting the person every day. I know some friends text every single day. Like me and my friends, we might text every few days or something. You know what I'm saying? Or we might call each other or text or something. Check in, or we'll just send a quick, something, whatever we're talking, something that happened or whatever and stuff, like that. But some people feel like they're being ghosted because their friends is not texting them every day.
Yeah, I'm not that type of friend. I'm not needy. Now, there are times where, you do want to, you want to have that support and you want to, talk to your friends or whatever. But I think when I have the need for that, I think I always get it or whatever. But that's not something I need every day, every hour, every second or whatever. So my friends know, even my family knows, I'm not the one that's going to be texting and calling you every day and, whatever. That's not to say that I'm not concerned about you or that you're not on my mind or whatever. And it took me a while to get into the texting thing because all we knew back in the day was getting on the phone, talking to people or whatever. But when the texting came, it kind of made it easier because with the texting, you kind of get to your point and you get to your point, you get your answer and you're done. But sometimes with a phone call, I got to hear about everything that happened that day. I got to hear about the week. I got to hear about this person, that person. And sometimes I don't want to hear all that, So sometimes I become a texter because this is all I need. I don't need to know nothing else. Now, if you want to have that, then you can call me. And because you're my friend, I will answer whatever. But for me, sometimes I don't do that. I don't call and just tell everybody all my issues and stuff like that. So yeah, but I do have some friends that if they haven't heard from me a while, I become a stranger, or I become.
They think you ghosted them.
Yeah, I have no idea, and it makes me so upset, and I tell them because I'm not a person that's gonna let stuff ride like that when it bothers me because I don't understand. I'm your friend, I'm your friend. But then because you haven't heard from me or because you have set expectations that I didn't agree to, and you want me to meet these expectations, and when I don't meet them, I'm a stranger.
So they ghost you.
No one. They feel I don't know if they think if they feel like I ghosted them or not. But I'm just saying that there are friends that kind of want to hear from you every day. Like you're saying, I'm not that type of friend. And so my friend, some of the friends that I have, if they don't hear from me in a day or so, whatever, all of a sudden I'm a stranger. Where the stranger comes from, I'm puzzled by it. And that's why I get upset because I'm like, and upset, I don't mean like I'm rid of whatever, but it's just weird to me how I'm your friend. We hang out, we talk or whatever. But because you haven't heard from me in a day or so or some hours, I become a stranger. To me, it's offensive to me because I'm your friend and now I'm a stranger. So to a stranger to me is somebody I don't know. Definitely don't know your number, where you live, where you drive. You're a stranger. You put me in the category of a stranger. So to me, I guess it must affect them some way. I don't know if they consider it ghosting or they consider it like I don't care or I don't love them or whatever. But something is, and that's why I say people need to go with it. Why are you reacting to this way? And I ask. So when I get the text messages when they say, "Hey, stranger." I'm a stranger now. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm just playing. I didn't mean nothing by it. So evidently it's just joking or whatever. But to me, it's not. I mean, I guess that's what they're trying to say. But to me, it's not a joke. But once
they're
you tell,
joking. They really mean it. That's just their way of saying it without trying to sound hurtful or whatever, or to set you off.
Yeah, I guess so. But then so I try to take it to effect. Okay, so when this person does this, or when these people do this, they're playing. So I try to play with it, but it still hits me in a way because I'm like, how do I come? I'm a friend, but now I'm a stranger. It's just like say anything else. Just say hey. Or just say what's up, or hey friend. Now the thing is, hey friend. We call somebody we just met a friend, probably because we don't know their name. Because I'm bad with names, y'all. So if I ever say hey friend, it's probably because I don't remember your name or whatever.
Yeah,
but
my friends.
But yeah, I don't like that. But I don't go. Hopefully they're not considering that as ghosting. But yeah.
Yeah, I think with my friends, I don't. We don't. I have some where I talk to only every few months anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Where we meet up or we talk or something, or you get a text or something from, just like with family members and stuff like that. The only person that I've ever talked to every day was if I was in a relationship. So I'm never gonna ghost my partner. Or if I'm dating. If I'm dating and we are dating and we know we're dating, then we're gonna, I'm gonna talk, or text or call or text every day, or whatever. And you can do the same thing with me or whatever. I'm never gonna ghost you. I'm never gonna ignore their calls or something. Now, sometimes you can't pick it up because you ain't, the phone might not be near you, or something's going on where you can't answer the call or whatever. But I will get back to them as soon as I can, because they're my priority. And my friends, they're my priority too. But we, the way we're not the type that text or call every single day, so it's not ghosting. If it would be ghosting if they text me, or called me and I never returned their call at all. You know what I'm saying? Or a few days later, I decide to return their call and I make up some excuse, like, oh, I didn't see your text, or something like that, or I didn't hear the call. Like I said, we all know how these phones work. So the games people play with them, or the games they play.
And they work both ways.
But yeah, it works both ways. So but the only person that I would text or call every day and check in on and stuff is my partner, or somebody who where we're dating. I will do that. But with friends, it might be every few days or something. But I'm never anybody who texts me or call me, even if I haven't talked to them for a long time, or we fell out, or something, like that, or we're mad at each other or whatever stuff. If they text or call me, I'm all, and the phone's in front of me, or once I see the text or call, I'm gonna text them or call them back and stuff, and I'll be cordial.
Right.
You know what I'm saying and stuff, like that.
And to be clear,
but I'm not going to follow them and chase them, and I'm not going to be the one who go text you after you ghosted me.
Right. And to be clear, ghosting is when there's no response or whatever.
There's no contact.
And so my example was when you have a friend that you say you have a friend or whatever that reaches out. It's not that they don't. That's the example I was given, the hey stranger or whatever. It's not that I've ghosted them, because when they send their text, I respond. So I'm not ghosting you. It's just in their mind, they think because they have not heard from me that something's what. And my thing is just say, hey, I'm just reaching out. Don't think that there's something wrong just because we've never agreed to. I'm gonna text you every day. I'm gonna text you every minute, every hour, whatever. So like I said, that's why I said I don't think I've ever ghosted anyone, because if you text me, you will get a response. You might not get a response right then and there. I might be doing something or whatever, but you're gonna get a response. If you call me, I'll call you back if I don't answer the phone or whatever. But it's the expectations that a person thinks that because they haven't heard from you, and I don't know if they consider that ghosting or whatever. But yeah, I'm always going to respond back. I'm always going to call back or text back or whatever.
I think it would be ghosting if you intentionally see their text or call and you're not doing anything. Nothing's keeping you from texting them back right away, or whatever. And then you just say, I know you don't know that, but
right.
but you're doing it as manipulative or punishment tactic. You know, like, I fuck them. I'm, you know, because you might be mad at them or something like that, and then you might say, I'm gonna let them suffer, or I'm just not gonna text them back until I get ready. You know, and then you text them back later that night or the next day, and then you pretend like you didn't. You know, like, oh, I was busy. Oh, I was doing so and so, when really it's not true. And some friends do have done that. You know, where they, you know, they intentionally ignore the text or whatever. And that's probably that probably might fall into soft ghosting. I'm not for sure, you know, or what is it, semi ghosting, because, you know, you're intentionally ignoring that person because you're mad. And now some people might need time to get over their whatever and stuff, but you never know. But if you're intentionally doing it as a form of punishment or manipulation because you're upset with that person, or they didn't respond to you in time. Like sometimes people, you know, sometimes they'll do it, you know, where it's like, well, they didn't respond to my text right away, so I'm just going to ignore theirs and I'll text them back later or next week or something. Well, that's a form of ghosting too, because it was an intentional, where you intentionally didn't have contact with them because you're upset with them or whatever, or you're getting back at them in some way. You know, like, fuck them. You know, I'll text them. You know, I'll text them later or something. Not because you know you have other stuff you have to do. Oh, I'll get back to them later because I'm doing this, or I'm in the shower, or I'm, you know, I can't do it right now. But then you hold them off and put them off intentionally. And
no one would ever know that unless you told them that.
Or they tell somebody else.
My thing is that lets you know that y'all need to have a conversation.
And you might not need to be friends with that person. That means you might not be as good as friends as you think.
Well, no. So like, if you made me upset and I've chosen to not respond to you because you made me upset, that lets me know that if I value this friendship, we need to have a conversation, because I shouldn't get into these moments where I feel like, since they didn't do this, I'ma do this or whatever. We need to work that out, because I don't want a friendship like that or whatever. And I would have never known that you ignored my text or that you were upset with me unless you came out and told me or whatever. And sometimes you do have those conversations. You be like, well, let's have a conversation. The reason why I didn't text you back is because I was upset or whatever. You know, that lets me know that you do value this, and you just want to let me know that something I did offended you, and that's why you did whatever. But yeah, just to ghost someone because you're upset, that lets you know that there's something in you that you're dealing with, and y'all need to, you need to first of all deal with that, and then y'all need to have the conversation to see how this friendship can survive when those moments, because it may happen again. It's probably going to happen again. And I need you to have the correct response. And if you're not going to have the correct response, then maybe I'm not the friend for you.
My sister just said, because what I said, the only person I reach out to, communicate with every single day would be my partner or somebody I'm dating. She says, Alvin, it should be your mother. You should reach out to her every day. Not every day, okay? Not every day.
And I like the one she said before, don't get me in trouble, Martina.
Yeah.
Talking about you, whoever the friend is, I
talk to my mother usually about once. If she doesn't call me, I don't ghost. I just don't ghost. I don't think that I do, but and if my mother calls, I'm going to call, I pick up the phone right away, unless I'm busy and I can't pick it up, but then I'll call her back later. I don't ghost my family members and friends like that.
It's hard for me not to respond.
Yeah, and then I talk to my mother once a week and stuff. I don't know what I would be talking to her every single day for. We don't have that. We don't have, I'm not going to sit there and gossip every single day with, because that's what she's going to do. She's going to be gossiping, which I don't mind. I'll gossip with her for a little bit, but I don't want to be on the phone for an hour or 2 hours sitting there just gossiping about the same stuff or what happened here or what did so-and-so. But I check in with her every week. If I don't check in with her, she'll check in with me.
Right.
And whatever and stuff, like that. And then with my sisters and brothers and stuff, we periodically call each other and we text and stuff back and forth and do stuff, like that. It's not all the time, but we do.
I think in some of these situations, it may seem like, I don't think we're doing it, but I think some people have the mindset of, they're kind of confusing the two to say, who's going to be the first to contact to. And that's not ghosting. That's just like, I mean, that's just speaking. I don't have to speak first all the time, and you don't have to speak first all the time. And just because we're not speaking in the time frame that you think we're speaking doesn't mean we're ghosting. Ghosting is if we're having a conversation and all of a sudden there's none at all. I don't do that, you know, and I don't think most people feel. For me, I just don't feel. I don't feel comfortable just letting people out there on the edge, just waiting, like checking their phone every once in a while to see if I responded. I'm gonna take, because I don't have nothing to hide. I'm too old to be blind, or you know, or to try to avoid people or stuff like that. I'll respond to you in my own time if I'm not available at that time. But the contact thing, I always tell people the phone works both ways. And just because I haven't contacted you, I'm not ghosting you, because you know, because I will contact you and you can always contact me. But if we're having a conversation, I'm gonna respond in it or whatever. So I mean, I'm not gonna ghost you in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it says, while not ideal, some people might choose to ghost if they are struggling with their own mental health issues, and which is true, you know. And some ghosters, it says some ghosters may be driven by fear of commitment, you know, past experience with toxic or abusive relationships, or growing up in an unstable household can contribute to this fear and lead to ghosting as a means of avoiding deeper connections or protection. You know, like people, like we said earlier, people who've been abused or in abusive relationships, or if you've been in a toxic relationship and then just say you meet somebody and you start noticing those red flags, and kind of, it's almost kind of like that with me now, where I can go out on dates with these guys, you know, or whatever, and then all of a sudden, and I'm trying not to be like that, but I started noticing stuff now, you know, where I overlooked it before, and I start seeing it, and then I get that fear.
But that's growth, though.
Yeah, but then I get that fear, like, you know, I don't ghost them, you know, but I get that fear where I'm just not as receptive. I don't know, you know, but I start seeing things or whatever, and then I do kind of not text them or call them as much or whatever, as probably as I normally would do if I was actually dating them or whatever. But I start noticing these red flags just from going out with these guys. And some red flags, they don't bother me. You know, I mean, it's like that doesn't matter. But when there's certain ones now that trigger me, and then I'll be like, oh shit, you know, or whatever. And then I probably just pull back, you know, and then as they're talking to me, they may get the sense that I'm not interested, and then they'll ghost me. You know, like, well, he ain't, you know, he's not, you know, he's not responding the way I want him to respond, or he's not responding enough, or he's not that interested in me anyway. So I'm not going to text him or call him or ghost him or whatever. And then in those situations, it's probably me who, you know, had my guard up, you know, and stuff, you know, like that. And I noticed those red flags, and then it made me not be responsive as I normally would, you know, with somebody who I'm not seeing all those red, because a lot of red flags don't bother me. You know, it's the individual. Certain people have their own red flags that get set off, that you know, puts up their, you know, that might cross their boundaries or put up, you know, whatever. So with me, you know, I think I might have a little bit of that, where I semi-ghost maybe. I hope I'm not, but you know, maybe I'm semi-ghosting because I'm not responding, you know, or communicating like I should, I guess.
No, because I mean, I'm not seeing what you're saying, semi-ghosting, because you are responding, ghosting would be no response at all, but you are responding, but you're not giving your all into it because you're taken aback by something you've seen or whatever, and you just bring it back, you know, whatever. And it's like, oh, wait, I've seen this before, so let me be cautious here or whatever. I think that's just self-care. I think you're just showing self-care, and they may not need to know all that at this point because y'all haven't even really developed anything at this time. But as time goes on, if there's someone you're interested in, if you realize, well, I can, get past that or whatever, they may need, you may need to have that conversation that, this kind of worries me a little bit, or whatever. But it may not be a big issue, because we talk about this and get an understanding on whatever that red flag was, get an understanding on it, because they may not even realize they're doing it, or it may be something they can change or whatever. But but they should be receptive to say, to hear you out and say, hey, I have had experience with this before, and that kind of made me, it took me aback a little bit. But if they're really interested, they'll hear you out and be like, oh no, I didn't mean nothing by it. Or, it may be a habit. A lot of people, they have a habit of ghosting, or they have a habit of whatever it is, and they just continue it, or some past relationship that they've had and they can't let go. Like, I've been in conversation with people, and I think because, and I'm okay with this, because I didn't see it the same way you saw it. It probably rubbed them a certain way and be like, oh, I don't know if I could, date this person or be, it's something, my opinion, or it could be sometimes their opinion of something or whatever may have, but I'm able to be around all kind of people. I don't need you to agree with me on everything. I mean, there's some things, especially when it comes to how you're going to treat me, we need to have some agreement on, because I'm not just going to be anybody's whatever. But I don't need you to agree. But sometimes if you don't totally agree with some people, they cut you off. Like, whatever it could be, because I guess they feel like if we can't, this little thing right here that we disagree on, if it's this bad now, what if it's a bigger thing? I can already see that in your response and the way you respond. Like, I don't know if I could take that. Like like you told me on the ferry. I don't see how any man could want to be, because they may not like that response that I'm giving them or whatever, and that just that turns them off. Then okay, then you're not the one for me. Or you're not even giving me a chance to, you're just looking at it one way because it offended you, but you don't know that if that whatever the way my response is because it's an issue for me too. So let's talk about it. It may not be something that's going to happen every time we're in this particular situation. This is my response today. But if it's something that I value, then yeah, it is going to be the same response every time. But you don't know that just because you saw it in this one time, that's going to be my response every time. So some people, it just turns you off. It turns them off, the way you responded or the way you didn't agree with them or whatever. So they just cut all ties and whatever. And it's like, really? But okay, whatever, bye.
Yeah, Tina said, what are some of the triggers you have?
Me?
I guess you're talking about both of us.
Oh, some of
anybody out there, if they want to comment.
What are some of the triggers we have that will cause me
Most people just listening today.
That will cause me to ghost someone, or that will cause me?
I guess she's saying, what are some of these triggers you have that would cause you, like if something would, I guess red flags, like trigger,
the
red flag triggers maybe. What are some of the triggers that would cause you to? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, she'll probably
respond. And she said, and could come from your past relationships. Yeah, that's where the triggers come from, is basically from our past relationships.
Exactly.
The shit that doesn't happen and stuff, and then you these mosquitoes have tore me up. Just got over all this congestion, or getting over all this damn congestion that I had in coughing, and now the mosquitoes are getting me. Relationships, man. Yeah, the triggers, it's just from being in past relationships and then
being hurt.
And then all of a sudden you start dating or going out with somebody else, and you start seeing some of those patterns. That doesn't always mean that person is that those red flags are a means to not date that person or get into a relationship. It just depends on the type of red flags and the type of stuff that you can accept and what you can't accept, or if you feel that red flag that you're seeing or feeling or noticing is going to cross one of your boundaries and stuff, and you'll be back in the same position where you were before, hurt, dazed, and confused, or whatever. Because not all red flags are worth, not dating somebody or pursuing a relationship. But there are some that are very harmful, and actually the silent treatment in a relationship. Ghosting and silent treatment in a relationship is a definite red flag. Now I can sit through the silent treatment, in the relationship. If you're going to ignore me because you're mad, or because something didn't go your way, or you feel like this, that, or the other, I can deal with that. The silent treatment. It depends on the type of silent treatment it is, but I can't deal with the ghosting where there's no contact at all, and then you intentionally punished me and ignored me in front of a bunch of people. Right. You know what I'm saying? You did that to punish me and make me look like a fool. And then you put me there like you don't exist to me. You're, like you said, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. That's a punishment. Or whatever. So that one I can't ignore.
She said red flags that cause you to ghost a person. So I think for both of us, we agree. Well, we say that we really don't ghost people, but I think the reasons why, I would say this: red flags you should look for when you're talking to someone. I would look at the way they avoid conversations. Sometimes people, they find their way out of it or whatever. That's a form of like, you're already showing me that ghosting capability that we can't even have conversations. Like you're not an open book or whatever. Or they seem inconsistent. Like, there's no consistency in it. I may hear from you. I may not. You're showing me these red flags of you being inconsistent, avoiding conversations. And thirdly, when they don't follow up on commitments, when they're not, you say you're going to do this. We're gonna date. We're gonna go to the movie. Then all of a sudden, oh no, something happened. I can't do it. I would love to, but So those are like red flags you can see where people may be in the process of ghosting you. They're avoiding conversations. They're not being consistent, and they're not following up on their commitments.
Right. Yeah. And on that note too. So. I'm going, like if I make a commitment to somebody, and that if I say I'm going to do something or I'm going to go somewhere with you, and I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. Even if something else comes up where, somebody else wants me to do something or something else where I need to go do that or whatever, I'm going to go I'm not going to ghost that person. I'm going to stick to the commitment, even if the other person is upset with me because, and it's like, no, because I've already promised that person I was going to do something with them, or I said I was going to go do this or whatever. Right. I'm going to keep that commitment, or whatever, to my friends or family, to whatever I said I was going to do that. I know that upsets some people sometimes, like even in a relationship where I have made a commitment, I said I was going to go do something with my friends, and then your partner might get upset with you because they have something that came up or whatever. Right. But, I try to work it out where I can do both of it or whatever, but I had already made that previous commitment first, whatever. And then, but I have been ghosted because of that too, because, I have been dating people, and then I'd already made a prior commitment with my friend, with you or with Dre or Larry or something. We all, I already had the commitment to go do that. Right. And then all of a sudden something came up where your partner wanted you to do something with their friends or whatever, and you couldn't do, I couldn't do it because I'd already made that commitment. Right. And then they would ghost you, or, or dating somebody, they go and ghost you and don't talk to you no more because they think that you put somebody else ahead of them. So they don't ghost you. And then in that instance, I'm not calling you back or following you anymore either because you just ghosted me. And, and then 3 or 4 days later, you're calling me or texting me. well, no, to me, you ghosted me.
Right.
You know, whatever. When I actually told you I had this prior commitment,
Right.
and that didn't sit well with you because you figure I should have just chosen you.
Right.
You know, or whatever. Now, if I chose, you know, if I was doing something with my partner, you know, and we'd already made that commitment, and there was plans and stuff, you know, like that.
You would have did that.
Then I would have did that. You know what I'm saying? And then I would have to tell my friend if they came up with something, which me, you know, me and you, we've gone through that before, where I say, well, no, you know, I'm already doing this with my partner, you know, and stuff, you know, like that. So even though you had offered, you know, and vice versa, the same stuff that's come up with you when I said, let's go do so and so, you were already doing something with somebody else too, you know. But in some situations, that person could get upset with you and give you the silent treatment, ghost you, or not talk to you ever again. You know what I'm saying? Or call you or text you a few weeks later, or a few days later, you know, when they, you know,
when they get over it.
And that, to me, that's another form of like punishment and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like what you were talking about a little while ago, that's like that in and out ghosting. You know what I'm saying? Where they do a little, you know, they hear, and then a few days later you hear from them, and then another few days later you hear from them. You know, in and out of your life. They just come, you know, I'm in and out of your life.
Right.
You know, in and out, like, you know, like you're disposable or you're dispensable till I need you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So and then this one was pretty interesting right here. Let me get down here where it comes back up. Oh, I think I did that one. But then what about the ghosting where the person ghosts you because you've gone out on a date with them? Or you know, you've been talking on the phone and stuff, and then they get intimidated by you, and then they ghost you because they feel like you're not, like they're not good enough for you, because just say they're intimidated by like you're fine, like you, like, because say you make a lot of money or something and they don't, or whatever, or they think that you are good looking, you know, or something, or whatever, you know, and then you know how some people put you up on a pedestal, more than themselves. You know, they'll put you up there, you know, which I hate, because you know that's a hard fall, you know, to fall off the pedestal. You know, that's correct. You know, I hate that. But you know how they'll put you on a pedestal, or they, you know, they see you as better than themselves. We talked about this in one of that God syndrome thing, where you know, where they in one of our lives we talked about that, you know, where they'll ghost you because they, you know, they actually really like you, and you really like them, and they actually really like you, but they feel like they can't meet up whatever these standards they think that they have to meet up to with you, you know, or whatever. And it intimidates them, you know, or whatever, and so they ghost you because of that, because they don't feel worthy, or that they're not as good as you, or live up to the expectations that they think they should be living up to be with you. You know, that what, you know, have you ever had that, like that type of ghosting where anybody, you know?
I don't think so. If they have, they didn't tell me that was the reason. I think that would be so hard for me to tell someone that the reason why I'm ghosting you is because I think that you're like on this high class and I'm down here or whatever. First, I would never tell anybody that, because I don't think I'm lower than anybody, first of all. And I can't see people telling me that unless they just really feel like they're small. So no, I don't think because if I saw that with somebody, I don't even think I'm attracted. I don't even think those people are, you know how I say something draws people to you or whatever. I don't even think those type of people are drawn to me. I think I draw people that are pretty much secure in themselves or too secure, and I have to bring them back. No, I'm just like, no, but you know, I don't think I get those.
Aren't secure.
I don't think I get those people that feel that way. I mean, we all kind of have our insecurities in some little place of the world, or, you know, in our minds, and it's probably just like, you just think that or whatever. You think, you know, this way. Like I said, sometimes we're our worst own enemy or whatever. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a person that would actually admit to that's why they ghosted me. I feel sorry for them if they feel that way. I really do, because I'm like, I'm special, but I'm just like you. I'm no bigger or better than you or whatever. So I hate that you feel that way and that you think you can't continue pursuing me or whatever we're doing, because you feel, for some reason you feel or think that you're lesser than me. I don't know. I feel sorry for them, and I hope they resolve that within themselves.
So I put this up here. When a person really loves, cares for, and or respects you, he, she, they do not put you in the position to lose you. So would a person, do you consider that, like, if a person, say you're in a relationship with the person, and then say the person they say they love you and you love them, or whatever, and then they ghost you. And they give you the silent treatment and ghost you inside the relationship. Is that really love? Because would you really ghost somebody if you really loved them or respected and cared for them? Would you really actually ghost somebody? No matter what you're going through?
Yeah. I mean, to really take the definition of love, no. Because love is gonna be there regardless. Like, you could be dead wrong. Like, you had the situation with one of your exes where they kind of fell off and was into some stuff, but the love was still there. To me, I mean, not the romantic love, but the love that I want to see you get help. You know what I mean? Like me and Tim, we have a friend that he kind of got, in a way to where we were like, sir, you need to get help or whatever. We have that love or whatever. So yeah, the definition of love will be like, no matter what you do, I'm gonna be there or whatever. So for a person to say that you love me, but then you ghost me, I would consider that love. However, I can see where there probably was love there at one point, but something may have happened, because people be like, no, I really do love you. I love you. They have convinced themselves that they love you, but your actions aren't showing it. So this, like, do you really love me then? Because would love do this? And that, I guess that's where, the issue comes, where like love wouldn't respond like this. And right. you're responding in a way that,
because you could be mad at somebody, you can be upset with them, you can be hurt or whatever, but there's certain things you just don't do when you're in a relationship.
Right.
You don't, because to ghost and
love is unconditional, Martina. That's right.
To ghost and give person the silent treatment. You're putting your relationship in harm. That's detrimental to your relationship. I mean, I guess some people can survive it and maybe ghost them back, or whatever and stuff. But to me, when you're doing that type of harmful, vindictive, evil thing, then you're putting your relationship in harm to actually end that relationship. So
and in their mind, they may have convinced themselves that I'm doing this because I do love you or whatever. Now, what kind of warped thinking that is? Because actually, you're pushing me away if you're gonna ghost me and you say you love me. Like, what world are you in where you think ghosting me shows or reveals to me your love for me? That's actually it's going to accomplish the opposite of what. But something in their mind thinks, if I do this, then they're going to respond this way. Because you see it on TV. We watch the Lifetime and we watch the soap operas where somebody wants to manipulate someone, where if I ignore them, and so they're gonna sit over there and they're going to be like, they're going to be thirsty and sweating me. Like, what is he doing? And what, who is he with or whatever? Because you done already played this in your mind that if I do this, then they're going to do that. But what if I don't respond the way you done set it up in your mind? And actually this pushes me away. See, they don't think about that. You can't take everybody's little story. You can't take these little Tyler Perry shows and these little storylines, these soap operas, and think you're going to get the same results. or whatever. And you remember I told you when you told me that situation, I said that sounds like something from The Housewives.
The Real Housewives.
Right, because
Yeah,
I watched this show where the husband came in, and it was the Ralph, and I can't think of the wife's name, but Sadora. Ralph and Drew Sadora. They was somewhere. He came in and spoke to everybody, and then the last they spoke to her. How do you think that make her feel? But in his mind, right, in his mind, he probably thought, well, this gonna show her, and then she gonna come running to me like, oh baby, I want your attention. I realize now, but no. Some people may react that way. Those are probably people that are broken inside, or whatever. They got some issues within. But somebody that know who they are and confident and whatever, baby, you just push me away.
Right. Yeah, and that's what happened.
Right.
Yeah, it pushed me away. It made me. It got my wheels thinking. There's that person doesn't love me.
Right.
And that to do this type of thing, and then. Not only that, there was all that cheating and shit going on through the whole relationship. But other than that, that was a strong indicator to me that I should leave. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would never have done that to him or anybody like that, or whatever. Not somebody who I profess to love. But I'm gonna play this little short 55-second clip too here.
You go ghost on me, I don't respond. If so,
that one we're gonna do.
And remember,
we're gonna do this.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen actually.
Back like we never left. What is good, everybody? Today we gonna get real about some shit that really needs to be understood. That ghosting, it's always intentional. Now you already know how I get down. I don't like to waste time, and I'm ready to get into it, so let's do that right now. It's not some sort of mistake. There is nothing wrong with them physically. They are perfectly safe and okay. And here's what I want you to keep in mind before we dive in. Somebody disappearing on you doesn't reflect your worth. It reflects their fear. And I get it. Y'all was kicking it for weeks or months. And as you're going through and processing your feelings, you start wondering, is this the shit you've been really waiting for? Everything is going well. They're responsive to your calls and your texts. They don't cancel plans or pour some lame bullshit on you at the last minute. The vibe just feels magical. And the time the two of you spend together, even if it's not that often, feels intoxicating, right? This is something that could lead to a relationship. You about ready to make shit official. But right before you can, right in the middle of everything seeming amazing, right after you just had incredible sex, a great dinner date, or talked about taking the next potential steps with this thing, crickets? Wait, hold up. But you don't want to seem thirsty, right? So you send them a message. No answer. You wait a day. You send another message. Email. You make a call. Still nothing? What the fuck is going on? And this moment, this one right here, is where those feelings of anxiousness gets overwhelming, right? Did you do something wrong? Is it something you did? Something you said maybe? Nah, it's none of that. See, what you fail to realize while dating is that sometimes, just sometimes, the man or woman you're dealing with just craved your attention. They loved the validation you were providing them. They were waiting for their ex to get their act together. They were dating multiple men or women, and they chose them over you. So instead of trying to come back to you and give you some lame ass reason why, instead of showing maturity and letting you know that things aren't working out, instead of breaking your heart with the real reason, instead of having a face-to-face with somebody who you spent so much time with and showing accountability for your actions, it's easier to ghost you. It's easier to run off and act like you never existed. Don't get it twisted. It doesn't mean they weren't digging you, that you're not attracted, or that you weren't potentially a great ass fit for them. It's that they don't want to have to face you. And honestly, even if they came back, sat you down and said, yo, this ain't really gonna work, and here's the reason why, you'd still have a million questions to their bullshit reasoning anyway. So do yourself a favor. Accept it as if you chose for this exact shit to happen to you. Learn that not everybody has empathy and compassion like you do. Not everybody is built like you either. Chalk this shit up to the game, and don't ever fucking let the actions of somebody who wasn't worth your time deter you from finding the person that truly is. As always, thank you to every single one of you for tuning in and checking.
So that was, I liked what he had to say. So then, we were talking about it earlier. Do most people ghost? How do and now, since ghosting is so prevalent out there now, I mean, it's always been around, but we didn't have a name for it, But now with social media and all of this other type of stuff, and it just seems like it's so rampant out there, you know. And it's like, do we rationalize the ghosting behavior? Like when somebody ghosts us, or just say if we ghost somebody, are we rationalizing the behavior, like why it's okay, you know, or why, you know? And then also, you know, like, are we normalized in today's society? Are we normalizing ghosting, like accepting it? You know, like what I had said about the apps, you know, like, oh, I don't care, you know, in the apps, I don't care. So it's almost like I'm rationalizing that bad behavior, you know, because it happens, and it happens so much that we get, you know, once we get conditioned and so used to stuff happening, we just ignore it, you know, just like, you know, how with all the, like these damn mass killings and stuff with these people when they go out and shooting up these schools and theaters and stuff, you know, like that. It happens so much that we get desensitized to it, you know, and it's like, oh, it's just another killing. Oh no, so and so, you know, not equating this with that, but it's just like we're so desensitized to it now because it happens so much that we just kind of ignore it. Like, oh, we know, well, yeah, it's going to happen to us, you know, and we just overlook it and accept it.
For me, I feel like it's just another name. We called it something different. I know we probably called it, and I guess I should have studied this, but what comes to mind is maybe like, oh, I'm gonna put this person on hold, or, you know, we just use the word ignore, or I'm a love you from a distance. I mean, all these different words or whatever, all that kind of stuff. I just feel like now it's just on different platforms, because now we have different platforms or whatever. But it's always been around. There's always been some type of ghosting. There's been some type of, you know, I'm not dealing with this person. We just called it something different. I mean, ghosting is just what, you know, you look at it up in the Urban Dictionary. You know, that's what the kids are calling it now or whatever. But it's always been there. It's just now there's more platforms where people do it. It's more like, it ain't just like, you know, I'm ghosting the neighbor down the street. Now I'm ghosting celebrities. Now I'm ghosting, you know, people I don't even know. Or, you know, I kind of know my neighbor and we kind of fell out, and we're, you know, now I'm ghosting them. But now I'm ghosting perfect strangers because they disagreed with me, or I felt like there's no connection or whatever. And so now it's just, you know, we just taking it to a different place. It's not just the neighborhood. It's not just the job. It's not just the church. It's not just whatever. Now it's, you know, it's the whole world, because now it's global. So now I can ghost you now on a global, you know, platform or whatever, and it becomes a trending topic now or whatever. It's out there. We're discussing it because now, I guess, because it's become so big and we can see it, not just, you know, in your personal life. We're discussing it because we're realizing it's affecting people. It's hurtful. It's embarrassing. It's like, how do you like? Like, even when I told you about my ghosting, that was kind of uncomfortable, because I'm like, I gotta tell my friend that somebody didn't really care for me, and I know I'm special. Don't you like me? You don't like me, right? So why would somebody else not like me? So I have to tell you, and the response that I get from my friends should be, "Oh no, Charles, you're cool. That's their loss. You know, whatever. They just don't know how good of a person you are. I think very highly of you. I don't know what's wrong with them or whatever. You know, that's support. But so now the conversations are happening because we're not only getting hurt by people we know, we're getting hurt by perfect strangers, people that we're not even that, you know, involved with, or even if we did get involved with them, you know, it got, you know, kind of deep or whatever, and all of a sudden they just disappear. So yeah, like I said, I think it's been out there. It's just now it's just gone to different like platforms, and now it's just something that people are talking about now, you know.
So I'm gonna read this right here. It's like here's this ain't all the reasons, but here's some reason for ghosting, and then I'm gonna talk about one of them, because we talked about all of this already except for the one. But here's one. It says, number one, was not really serious about you, right? Number two, catfishing. We talked about that, hiding their true authentic self, right? Number three, they're already in a relationship. Well, we didn't talk about that, but you know, they can ghost you because they're already in a relationship, or you didn't show enough interest in them. We talked about that. Well, they met somebody else. You know, you have low standards and deal with low quality men or women. You know, so they're going to treat you that way, right? They may really like you, but they are damaged, insecure, and think you deserve better. We talked about that, right? And then number 8. You didn't reciprocate or show much interest or desire in them. We talked about that. Okay. They internalize an issue, overthink, and then they shut down. Number 10. This is one I want to talk about because we talked about 11, a life event. Number 10. You have sex too soon, too late, or the sex was not good. So you can have they like you and you like them and you pick them up for y'all have sex right away. Well, they may ghost you after that. You know what I'm saying? Because they got what they want, and they want to move on to somebody else and get something else, or whatever. And they were really only interested in you for the sex and stuff. Anyway, even though they may have told you, they really liked you or there was something else, but they was really just interested in having sex with you because sometimes they're sex addicts and they're going to move on to other people. And they're not always sex addicts, but, they just like a variety and you were just that thing for the moment. And then they're going to ghost you and not talk to you again, maybe until they want to have sex with you again, which could be weeks, months, a year or so later, like, oh, hey, stranger, how you doing or whatever, or whatever. Or, or you didn't have sex with them, and that's what they wanted to do was have sex with you. They wanted to pick, especially on the apps, and they wanted to have sex with you, or whatever. And then you wanted to probably maybe get to know them or something, or you didn't want to have sex right away, or something like that. So they ghost you because you didn't give them sex. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get that.
And then the other one is you had sex with them, and they might like you for everything else, but the sex was bad. Yeah, I've never been in this situation where the sex is bad, but that's out there. Where they have said no, I didn't. So they ghost you because they had sex with you and they didn't like it, or whatever, or it wasn't their cup of tea, right?
They didn't meet their expectations,
right? And so then they don't, they just ghost you. So the next time you either run into them, or you see them, or you see them online or something, like that, they don't respond to any, you're like, hey, what's up? Or whatever. I'm just making this up, like maybe that's what you may say or something. I don't know. And then they ghost you because, and they probably already done told their friends, that sex was. I done heard it on certain shows and stuff. I mean, we were listening to Craig and T.S. Madison one time, and they said it too. No, the sex was bad. So so I didn't. Craig didn't say that, but we heard what people they were talking about it, and they ghosted the person because the sex wasn't good.
Oh, I have to.
Oh, did you say you have?
So I know. Okay, so that. I can see how that happens. However, for me, I just say in my mind, I'm not having sex with them again. But I'll still be sociable. For me, I'm still, because to this day, we're Facebook friends. And if they reach out, I'm going to say hi and, whatever. But I'm never going to put my situation I'm not going to put myself in a situation to where we're having sex again, unless they just catch me at a weak moment or something. I don't know, but yeah, I have had situations like that, but that's only because that's all they want. Now if they want to take me out to eat, they want to take me, they want to go to the movies or whatever, or hang out, we could do all that. But as far as the sex part, I'd rather not. Because it wasn't, it wasn't all that or whatever. So but I wouldn't ghost them for that or whatever. But yeah, I can see where people would do, where people are capable of doing that. But like you said, that lets you know that's all they really wanted, though. Because if you were interested in me, like really interested in me, and we had that one bad moment, you would kind of like start telling me like, this is what I need, because you see something in it, and I've had those conversations with people that I've been with. I let them know this is what I like. and this is what I don't like. So if you're doing all stuff I don't like, then no, we're not gonna have a good experience or whatever. But yeah, that conversation, I would have that conversation if I really like that person and really want this to go further. I would let them know, hey, I know that was our first time or whatever, but you know, I really like when a person does this to me, or I really like when a person does this to me. So maybe, you know, they take the hints, and the next time we do it, they do that, you know, they do that stuff with me, so that, you know, this time can be a more pleasant experience for me. And hopefully for them, because the better you make me feel, the better I'm gonna make you feel. You know,
so I guess we're about to end this here. I'm gonna put this up here. This doesn't have anything really to do with ghosting. It's just more of a little thought, you know, a little statement, you know, like when you meet somebody or whatever, you know, it's like, you know, the connection, you know, what could probably get you, maybe get you into a good dating relationship, get a dating situation, and then which could probably turn into maybe a relationship, you know, where you might meet somebody who's not doing all, you know, if this type of stuff may be there, you know, the connection comes first, you know, then you got to have connection, you know, especially when you're meeting, you know, you're meeting people on these apps or out in the clubs and stuff, you know, like that. If there's a connection, that, you know, that connection is there. And then, you know, then after you get to dating or talking or something, you know, like that, if there's like real compatibility and stuff, you know, and then, you know, then there's also the physical attraction, you know, that's kind of what you need to sustain a romantic relationship, you know. And if that kind of stuff is there, maybe the ghosting, that stuff would not, if all of that's kind of there, you know what I'm saying? Even in friendships maybe, but you know, romantic relationships, if that stuff is there, you have a true connection, and you're really truly compatible with each other and stuff, they're not going to ghost you, right? You know, that person, and then you know, and you love each other, you know, and they really truly love you or whatever, you know, then they're not going to ghost you and stuff, you know, like that. You know, there's times where you may not feel like talking at that moment, and you might say, let's talk later, or that we'll text later or do something, you know, like that. But you're not going to truly go ghost that person and cut off contact, you know, total contact, and then give them the silent treatment like that as a form of punishment and stuff. So, and I just thought I'd throw that in there. But anyway, and what are your final thoughts, so we can get off? And we've been on here for like almost 3 hours. So, you know, what kind of final thoughts do you have?
Well, I guess for someone that has been ghosted, I would say, you know, just communicate openly, you know, share your intentions, expectations, your feelings to that person, let them know. Maybe even bring up the term ghosting and give your viewpoints on it, you know, put it out there, like ghosting to me is blah, blah, blah. And then they say, well, ghosting to me is. So you kind of know, you know, you kind of put that on the table, setting boundaries, just getting to know them, pay attention to red flags. I would not over-invest myself in a person that you're just meeting, because the more you put in, the more hurt you're gonna be, because you're gonna be like, I put so much into this. So, you know, take your time, be genuine, be authentic, be yourself, and just prioritize mutual respect with each other. Ensure that they're being respectful, you're being respectful to them. Show empathy, you know, make sure it's you know, it's empathy on both sides or whatever. And then for a person that is ghosting someone, I would say, instead of ghosting someone, why don't you just have that honest conversation? Explain your feelings, your thoughts directly. Use it with kindness and respect. Have the clear communication. Let them know that you're not interested, you're not available, or you are available. Without leading them on. Direct messaging. Send a message saying that you appreciate their interest, but you don't feel the same way. You know, set a boundary. Say, this is what I want, and evidently this is not meeting up to my expectations. I want to pursue something else. You know, just let them know. And then you may have to, you know, until you're comfortable with just having that conversation, maybe gradually distance yourself from them. You know, slowly kind of like slow the text down, because they'll probably get the picture, you know, eventually. And they'll probably just say, hey, this is not working for me. And that'll make it easier for you instead of just ghosting them. You know, they'll make it easier and be like, you know what, since we're not really communicating, I'm just going to go ahead and just say, let's call it quits or whatever. Then you won't really have to have that, you know, you won't have to just ghost someone. And then you can respectfully reject someone by saying, like, I appreciate your interest in me, but I just don't feel the same way. But I wish you all the best. You know, even though that might be harsh, but at least you're respectfully letting them know, you know, this is just not what I want. And then just open and honest closure, you know, by explaining your decision and just allowing both of you guys to move forward. But regardless, I think there needs to be honesty, there needs to be empathy, there needs to be respect, and just use everything that, you know, whatever the conversation is or whatever the actions is, move with kindness and understanding. Because, I mean, there was something you saw in this person that, you know, even sparked you to reach out to them. So don't hurt them. I know hopefully that was not your purpose with, you know, even contacting them. So just be kind and understanding, and just know that sometimes every connection is not going to work out. You know, every little connection you make is not going to work, and it's okay.
Yeah. And I would just say, you know, I will say again, don't chase ghosts. If, you know, in certain situations, you know, but not in dating, not in relationships, and not on those apps. You know, if they're ghosting you, there's a reason why they're ghosting you.
Right.
And if you feel and know that you've been ghosted, I wouldn't chase them. Yeah. You know, they're not worth that. That means they weren't interested in you anyway.
Right.
You know, and if they are, they're going to just keep coming. If you allow it, they're going to keep coming back and forth, you know, until they use you up or whatever, or something else better comes along, or they think the grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
You know, don't chase them. To me, that's just my thing. Don't chase them. You know, you can ask, you know, like I say, you know, maybe once or something, you can text or call or something and say, hey, you know, I hadn't heard from you, or whatever. But after that, I wouldn't do it. You know, 2 or 3 times, I wouldn't be chasing them, you know, or whatever, because it's obvious that they're really not interested in you that way, you know.
Yeah.
So true. That's my take on it. And if somebody's really interested in you and you're really interested in them, you're not going to ghost them,
right?
You know? Yeah. So anyway, everybody, here, let me throw our little banner, our little brand banner thing up here, and then.
Last statement too.
All right, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we really appreciate you all. You know, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and thanks for the comments. My sister Martina was in here.
Thank you, Martina.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. You came in. You gave a lot of good content, stuff to think about. And we really appreciate everybody who was in today, and those who will be coming in watching us later.
Yeah.
You know, leave us comments. We'll get back with you, and then subscribe to our channel.
Yes, share it. Happy Pride. See y'all.
Oh, it's still Pride Month.
It is.
Happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride forever.
Hey, right.
Yeah. Happy Pride, world.
Yeah,
it's
not just in this
Pride,
month, but
right?
all.
It's always Pride.
Yes.
All right. Bye.